What's up, everybody? I don't know what that was, but I'm excited. It's just I love these episodes. Love getting to put out fresh episodes every week for you to listen to. Hope you enjoy them as well. Um, so if you do enjoy it, I say at the end of every episode, but make sure to follow us on all social medias. Engage with what we're posting out there if you like it. Deep.ish podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't know what our Facebook tag is. I just search it. Right? It's gonna come up. It's just eventually it's gonna come up. The cover art's the same on all of them. And I think we even have an X account somewhere along the lines. Really bad at posting on that, but make sure to follow us on all socials. And if you like it, subscribe to the podcast. And subscribe. Leave us a review. 5 stars. Hopefully you love it. But anyways, just felt the need to say that. And I'm excited again for this week's episode. I got to sit down with a new friend of mine. Her name is Parker Graye. She is a singer-songwriter, country artist here in Nashville. Born and raised in Canada. Did some pop music once upon a time and eventually ended up here in Nashville. And really, really cool story. Really unique way that she kind of ended up here. And we got to sit down and talk for a few hours a couple weeks ago. I probably was about a few hours. The episode is not a few hours. We talked and before the episode started. But anyways, really hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you loved our episode last week with my friend Hallie Kearns. I don't know in the episode Hallie Kearns is her music name. I mean, I know her as Hal, but I hope you love that one as well. And if you're new to the podcast, make sure to go back, check out all of our other episodes. This is episode, dang it. I don't know why I keep doing that. I think this is 13. I think it's episode 13. Pretty sure. Again, I say, if you're listening to this, you're like, Jake, why do you keep doing that? I don't know why I do it to myself. I genuinely don't. I want to know exactly what episode it is. And I keep forgetting, and I don't want to look it up again. But if you're new to the podcast, go back and listen to some of our previous episodes. You can find them, wherever you're currently listening to it. But without any further ado, this is my conversation with my friend, Parker Graye. What's up, everybody? We're back. Another episode of Deepish. Today, I've got my new friend. I feel like it's fair to say new friend because we just met a couple weeks ago through text. But Parker Graye. Fun fact, Parker is the first Canadian.
Am I really?
On the podcast, 1000%. You're one of okay, I was thinking about this. I started to tell you this a few minutes ago. As I was just thinking about this, I remembered I know a couple other Canadians. Shout out Mike Tompkins.
What's up, Mike?
He's got a coffee shop. He and his wife just opened one outside
Really?
Columbus. It's fire. That guy's a freak musician.
Really?
Like Tompkins is. Oh my God, yeah. He was he was on the Ellen Show 12 years ago, 13 years ago maybe.
Like as the guest?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't remember where they're from in Canada, but they're from Canada. I'm like 99% sure. But he did a cappella music, and
Crazy.
he was kind of like Pentatonics, but he was like solo, did it all himself. His music stuff. I've learned recently that he toured and opened for the Jonas Brothers, like in that same era.
What?
Yeah, I just saw this recently. I recently learned this. Yeah,
That's incredible.
because Joe Jonas was in their coffee shop when the Jonas Brothers were in Columbus this fall or last fall. Yeah, and I saw it, and I was like, yo, that shop looks familiar. And then his wife reposted it, and I responded. I was like, "What the hell?" And so yeah,
That's
but
crazy.
I think the first Canadians I ever met, we were on family vacation in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Shout out Dirty Myrtle. And my dad and I were playing golf with. We played golf with 2 Canadians.
Do you know where they're from?
Shit, no. I think I'm gonna say Vancouver. But I genuinely can tell you, I remember them being massive hockey guys, and I'm like, first of all, why are 2 people from Canada in Myrtle Beach for vacation?
Because Myrtle Beach is where people go. I feel there's a weird thing. Yeah, and I can't tell you why, but
it's where everyone from West Virginia goes too, which is where I'm from. And everyone, but like it's
I don't know.
convenience, I guess.
Maybe. And I feel like my guess is they probably lived on the East Coast not East Coast, like not Newfoundland, but like what would be Central East Coast, so like Ontario.
That might have been where they might have been
I
from
wouldn't be
Ontario.
shocked because so many people will drive down to Florida.
Yep.
And Myrtle Beach is closer
than
other places.
I kind of feel like they drove, but I remember playing golf with them. And I think I was like an early teenager. I think, but I think they're the first Canadians I ever met.
Crazy.
Which is, God, that's been like 20 years ago.
Shout out those guys in Myrtle Beach so long ago.
They could pound beers, and at that stage in my life,
listen, they're probably from Ontario then.
They could pound beer. And at that stage of my life, grew up in church where drinking was, and I'm like, I remember being like, Dad, what in the world? Now again, whatever. But so Parker, welcome to Deep Fish.
Thanks for having me, brother.
So I want to jump back into the conversation before we get into anything overly serious. Also, speaking of Canada, I have to give a quick shout out to Robin Sparkles. Great pop sensation from. She's never. We were just talking about this. Parker's never seen How I Met Your Mother, and I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time. Arguably better than Friends, which we know how you feel about Friends. But I digress a little. But Robin Sparkles there was a character on the show named Robin Scherbatsky. Great Canadian name. I don't know why. It's just in my brain.
I'm not even gonna touch it.
But she was a secret teen pop sensation on the show. Like when she was the way they tell the stories, like when she was a teenager, she was a pop star named Robin Sparkles.
Like Hannah Montana?
Yeah, like Hannah Montana.
This by day, this by night, like moonlighting.
I think so. And she had a song called "Let's Go to the Mall." I can't believe that you've never seen that show. I mean, I'm
not a showgirl.
It's fine, but just had to give her a quick shout out. You know what I wanted to talk about? I just got real excited.
Yeah, hit me.
In my brain,
No, I love this.
Shout out Tim Hortons.
Yo, okay, so here's the thing. Tim Hortons has a special place in all Canadians' hearts.
Oh my God.
Me specifically because in high school, there was a Tim Hortons within walking distance of my high school.
Yep.
And in the morning, my dad would go to work early, so he would drop me off. There'd be a crew of us that would hang out at Tim Hortons. I'd get a blueberry bagel with strawberry cream cheese and an ice cap, which in total, the caloric intake was probably 3 days worth of food.
1000%.
But and then we would and then we walked to school. But there, on every road trip, you'd go to Tim Hortons, you'd get an awful coffee, and then
their coffee wasn't good, but as a kid, you thought it was awesome.
Totally. Yep. And then you would get a box of 40 Timbits.
Yep.
And then you would house the whole thing.
I still think Timbits are the greatest mini donut on planet Earth.
Yeah. Anyone who sits around here and tells me that Dunkin's...
No.
What are they called? Donut holes here?
Yeah, they're called donut holes.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Which is... makes sense when you think about it.
Yes, but it's a Timbit.
It's a Timbit.
Yeah, and there is no comparison.
I remember being a kid, and I think the nearest Tim Hortons, which is wild that it is so massive in Canada and somehow made its way in. There's one in Nashville now, or right outside, in Hermitage. But my mom would go on these. I don't remember. There was one in Gallipolis, if I remember correctly, Ohio, which was 30 minutes from us. But my mom would go up that way for whatever reason, and they would always bring back a box of 50 Timbits, and and then they put one in near my high school. I remember being in high school, my junior year, and I was in a math class there was 11. I went to a very small private Christian school, and there was 11 of us in the class total. In this specific class, our principal was our teacher. One of the guys on my basketball team worked at Tim Hortons, and he called one of us one morning. And we were in class, and he was late, and and he's somebody called. I think our principal was call him, see where he is. So he called him. He's I'm going to Tim Hortons to get a coffee, and our principal was you can only do that if you bring me one. If you bring it for everybody else. And so he literally comes walking in with 12 coffees and hot chocolates.
Unreal.
And stuff. We were so we went to Columbus this time last year, and the Tim Hortons is massive up there. The further north you get, the more more there are.
Right.
And I kept telling my wife, I'm like, and she's gluten free, so she can't eat regular donuts.
Yeah, shout out my GF girls.
Yeah. And so we were driving up there, and I kept singing, I'm like, I have to get some Timbits. We go to her aunt and uncle's house who live in Columbus, and one of their kids had friends over, and they were like, there was a box of Timbits. I sat there and ate like 30 in like 10 minutes. I just housed them, just
Yeah, you
put
don't
them
even
down.
finish eating the
Mm-mm.
first one before you backspace the next
And
one.
you can't like not do it.
I know.
So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Tim
I'm
Hortons.
also supposed to be gluten-free, and I'm like very good about it.
Until you see a Tim
But
Hortons.
then every now and again, I will
Mm-hmm.
indulge in things such as the Timbit.
And I love donuts too.
Do you?
Oh my God.
I'm much more of a cake person.
I love a cakey donut though.
Okay.
But like also like I think, but I don't know that I've ever had an actual Tim Hortons donut. I'm sure I have. It was always a Timbits thing. But Krispy Kreme yeast donuts, but only when they're hot and ready. Like because my dad and I got a box of we were together like 2 years ago, and we've been playing golf, and I was like, Pop, swing by Krispy Kreme. There was one near us, and he's like, and the hot sign was on. He's got the app on his phone, and so he saw it was on. So we got there. We ate an entire box of donuts in like 10 minutes.
That's the problem is once you put one to your lips, it's game over.
And especially when Krispy Kreme donuts are hot, it literally melts in your mouth. And then like 30 minutes later, you're like, oh,
I regret all life choices.
Yeah. But there's a donut store in 30A where we go called the Donut Hole that has my favorite donut on planet Earth.
What's the donut?
It's called a Chocolate Angel.
What is?
It's like it's a powdered sugar donut.
Okay.
But it's like a cake donut, powdered sugar with chocolate icing in it. And then the chocolate icing like comes out the side of it too. Trying to think of like the non-weirdest.
Is it like a circle? Obviously, like there's no. It's in the inside.
Yeah.
So that's like a Boston cream donut.
It's like a Boston cream donut, except it has chocolate icing.
Tight.
And I've been known to eat an entire dozen of those by myself in a week. And you talk about caloric intake. That one donut I think is like 800 calories.
Yeah, definitely.
But you think I care?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing it all the time, who really cares? YOLO.
Yeah, I see. I think that's part of what makes them so great. It's because I'm not
a treat.
Oh,
it's like you're going if you're going down to 30A, you're like, I get to have this.
And I do probably 2 a day.
That's fine.
Wake up, eat a donut, go for a run.
It's good for the soul, man.
No, it really is. But on coffee, we were just talking about
it.
So before we get into like anything serious, you were just telling a story about the lady in Canada that you would invite you to your house.
No, she's here.
Oh, she's here.
Bonnie's here.
Okay, but so I as you were saying that like, and you were talking about your friends that open a coffee shop, and like it's like simple people come like.
Do you want to know the best thing about their coffee shop?
What is it?
You cannot get a latte.
Really?
They do not have milk.
So
if you want to put cream in your milk, you can do that separately. But the menu, like people will come in and
is that common in Canada?
No.
Okay.
That is because the way that they wanted to do it was coffee should be drank black.
Yeah.
That's the point of it.
Yeah.
And they have different beans and whatever. You should be able to start to like indulge in the experience of the coffee and what it tastes like.
Yep.
People would be so pissed when they come in. They'd be like, "Can I get a vanilla latte?" And they'd be like, "We don't do lattes here." And people would
really
lose it.
That's
only
but
black.
I kind of like that. So one of
sick.
my biggest hot takes is I hate when people talk about how great a coffee shop is, but they're basing it off of a latte.
Yeah. That's
like,
not
and it's
real.
not that I don't enjoy a latte. Like,
sure.
I mean, but if you're going to tell me a coffee shop is a 10 of 10, and 1, they don't have a pour over, or 2, their black coffee is ass, then it's not valid.
Talk about it.
But as you're saying that, you know what I think? I kind of have a dream of having a coffee shop someday.
Yeah.
Because I am yet to find my favorite coffee shop in Nashville is a place called Living Waters.
Okay.
They have 2 of them. Shout out Charlie Plowman, who's a barista. One of them is a good friend of mine. They have one in West and they have one in East. Okay. They have the best coffee in Nashville. Okay. They change beans every month. They get them from other roasters all over the world. They had one from like Japan last fall or something. Their beans they find the best beans and have them, and I love them. Adam Shaw, your beans are still better than everything I've had. Just shout out Deep Roots Coffee real quick. But I have not found. Living Waters is the only coffee shop in Nashville that nails all 3 items that I think a coffee shop has to nail. Your pour overs are impeccable. Theirs are. Yeah. You have good parking.
Oh.
And the vibe is good.
Yeah.
So like, and the vibe is like, what are your seats like? How light is it? How dark is it? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Like, all of that matters.
Yep.
I think the vibe of their Living Waters East is better than the West because it's got, like, a cozy corner that's got, like, comfy chairs and stuff.
Gotcha.
But the West one's so much closer, so I go there more.
Right.
But so, like, I kinda have a dream of having a coffee shop in that. But you know what I wish was more of a thing? As you're talking about your friends, I just had this thought. Coffee shops that are like speakeasies.
Okay, so this was the point of Mum's a Word, was
Okay.
like they did a cocktail kind of like speakeasy sort of vibe, but I agree.
It's just not
Isn't
a
there a
thing.
place opening up that is that
I don't know.
in Nashville?
I
I'm
don't know.
90% certain.
You would know better than I would.
I feel like I just saw something about a coffee shop speakeasy situation that was coming.
It's very plausible. But like I love the concept of a speakeasy, that it's like not necessarily the exclusivity of it, but the vibe of like, have you ever been to Skull's Rainbow Room in Printer's Alley?
Yeah.
It just no, like that's a restaurant, but it's like that vibe of like it almost feels dingy in a sense. But like you were talking about this, like there's something about coffee where it's like, and I think of bourbon the same way, where the experience of like sharing a cup with someone and just the camaraderie that exists over like you sit down and you have a quiet, simple cup of coffee. I freaking love that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wish there was Evan, Sharon, Zelly, when you hear this, and with your money, we're gonna start a speakeasy coffee shop. Evan's one of my best friends, and I just love to tell him that he has a lot of money, and he's like, I don't. But so I want to get into your upbringing, your life. You're born and raised in Canada.
Born and raised in Canada.
Okay, what part of Canada?
Small town called Aurelia. It's about an hour and a half north of Toronto.
Shout out
Not
Drake.
a lot going on in the O dot. Not
It's how do you it Aurelia?
Aurelia. Orillia.
What was a childhood like in small town Canada? Because like I know a lot of people that grew up in small town like southern US.
Right.
I
feel like it's got to be like every other kid growing up in the 90s. Like everyone was in some some type of
is that a Canadian
I don't
word?
know, man. I started to fumble.
Do you speak French?
Not really.
Okay.
Like I'm like, oh, un petit peu. Like,
so like you could maybe be sort of conversational.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I could probably start to like figure it out.
Okay.
Because you still have like words that you can kind of like, you're like, maybe that's what they're saying. But if you put me in a situation where that person does not speak English, I'm not gonna do
Okay,
it.
that makes sense. Sorry, that was
no,
question.
you're so good. Small town Ontario, Canada, like everyone was with a sport at some point. Like you either figure skated, played hockey, you were on a soccer team in the summer.
Hockey culture is
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, like we spent a lot of winters at the boy aquarium watching the guys we had crushes on.
Wait. Boy aquariums, that's what you call hockey rinks? That is awesome.
Have you not heard that?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, Parker, I'm from West Virginia.
Yeah, but that's not like, I think it's like a pretty...
No. There's no shot.
Anyways.
I think it's phenomenal though.
So, because you had...
Did you ever date a hockey player?
No. I had crushes on them, but I never...
They didn't have enough teeth for you? That's West Virginians and hockey players are similar. They both lack teeth.
Yeah. Wild.
I should not say that.
No, it's great.
But it's true.
You just like went because you like had crushes on these guys and you'd watch the hockey games and you drank the fire hot chocolate at the ice rink.
The boy aquarium.
The boy aquarium.
Yep.
We'd go to like the movies. Like it was just a small town sort of thing. I mean, I danced as a kid.
Okay. Like ballet dance or like...
I did tap and hip hop and acro and gymnastics. And then I played soccer in the summer.
Yep.
And played all the sports in high school. You kind of we'd have bush parties when we were teenagers. Like, it was sick. Like, if I could bring back the bush party, fire.
It's funny though to like hear you talking about these things that are like, it's same thing as West Virginia or as American culture.
I feel like
But
small town stuff is just
it's small town
stuff.
stuff, and you do it wherever you are. But it's the names of it, like a bush party. We wouldn't call it a bush
What'd
party.
you call it?
Like probably like a field party or a bonfire, or like something like
We had a bonfire at the bush party.
Yeah.
We would be taking gators, like we would park
Yep.
in the front, and then the guys would come back in the gators and then get us.
Yep.
People are jumping over these burn piles the size of Texas. It was crazy.
God, that's so wild. So, how long did you live in Aurelia for?
Until I was about 17.
Okay.
And then I was thinking about this the other day, was all of my friends, their folks were like post-secondary, like what schools are you applying to? And like the whole post-secondary university college thing is not the same in Canada as it is here. Like here it seems so historical and like passed down, and
It's just
like
it's the biggest like what you're supposed to do when you finish high school thing.
and you're supposed to do that in Canada too, but it is not as like my parents went to Ole Miss, so I'm gonna go to Ole Miss. Like it's not like that at all. Maybe to a degree if you're like, my mom's a nurse and I want to be a nurse.
Sure. Yeah.
But my folks never pushed me to do post-secondary. And I don't know why. I wanted to go to recording arts school, and my dad laughed at me, I think. And like I ended up leaving home at 17 and moved to the booming metropolis of Medicine Hat, Alberta. And if anyone here is listening and knows where Medicine Hat is, you would laugh at the fact of calling it a booming metropolis, because it was not that. It was this shithole place in the middle of Alberta, and it sucks. It's the worst place on the planet. But I got a job at a ski school.
Okay.
So I was teaching snowboarding at this
Really?
place in Elkwater, and it was a very formative year of my life, but like
So you were just there for a year?
maybe a little less than that.
Okay.
And then I went back home to Ontario, and then I ended up moving to Banff, Alberta, and I did food and bev there. And then when I was there, I was like, some of my friends were musicians. No one in my family grew up with an instrument in their hand. Like no one was musically inclined. But I had this like weird innate desire to be a performer. And I remember having like a Spice Girls microphone, and I would perform to my 32. Yeah, talk about it. They're going on tour. Did you see this? Yeah, they're coming back.
Okay, I think one of the greatest things happening right now
is the revival of old bands.
The revival of old bands.
Me too.
Like
I agree.
I have told people this. I don't think I've ever said it on the podcast. I think Justin Timberlake's biggest mistake recently was doing another tour before an NSYNC revival.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, and I don't, this is just all speculation, but like, I feel like I saw some things where the tour didn't do as well as anticipated.
Right.
And I think if NSYNC came back and did a tour before he did a solo project.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that like NSYNC fans necessarily need or want new music. I think if you re-record your hits as adults or older adults, and then you go on tour, I think you sell at every arena.
No, I agree with you.
And I think it pops. I think you do a Christmas tour. I think their Christmas album is the greatest.
It is so good.
I think it's the greatest Christmas album. Outside of like your classics, like your Bing Crosby, your Frank Sinatra, like that era.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay, I can't wait.
This is completely random and off topic, but I think one of the most overrated Christmas albums is Michael Bublé's.
Really? Why?
Because if I'm gonna listen to someone sing White Christmas, I'm gonna listen to Bing Crosby.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think
that
is like, it's not that it's not good. I just think that the people who sang those songs originally, when he is trying to sing them in the same style as theirs.
Got it. I get you.
Like, and like, it's crazy because everyone loves it. And it's not that I don't think Michael Bublé is great. I just don't think that it is. I think the original recordings and original versions of those songs are better. So like that though is what I think, like Bieber, NSYNC, I think that is why their Christmas albums are so good, is because they're not just re-recording old classic Christmas songs.
Okay, this is a great conversation, because I believe we will never have the Christmas music we have right now that is not a newly written Christmas song. I think we won't, but I'm curious, do you think we will ever have an iconic Christmas song that will stand the test of time that the songs that we know have ever again?
Okay, so like what songs are you thinking of that
I'm thinking of, we're in the lane of Oh Holy Night,
Mhm. Mhm.
All I Want for Christmas Is You,
Mhm.
White Christmas, like, the
Yeah.
iconic songs that are
I
in rotation. I don't
yeah.
think we will have another one of those.
I I don't know either. I don't I
'Cause the evolution of Christmas is not that one that, like trends don't follow Christmas. Like,
correct.
Christmas is
Because
just
well, and I
Christmas.
think part of that is too is like right now Christmas, trendy Christmas is out. Thank God.
I know,
And
the
it's
nostalgic
nostalgic
90s
Christmas.
Christmas is fire.
And so like I think to your point, the last what I would call great Christmas album, in my opinion, this is all subjective because it is like my personal opinion. I think Justin Bieber's Christmas album was the last great, like,
Yeah.
and that was 2012.
Like, I don't wanna hear your new Christmas song.
I
I don't.
Yeah, it like if there's like so the Jonas Brothers just released a Christmas album because they did a movie.
Right.
And there's a couple songs on that that are like Christmas songs that are fire.
But are you gonna
But
go back to those songs?
I would just because I'm a Jonas Brothers stan.
Okay,
But,
you're a
like, to
Joe
your
Bro.
point of, like, I ouch.
Did you spill?
Yeah, I did. It's all good.
Wasteful.
I know. It's a little drop. But I don't disagree with your point of the beauty of Christmas music is the nostalgia and like,
Yeah.
nostalgia of
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
I almost said nostalgicness, and that's not a word. But no, like, I think of, like, Megan Maroney did a Christmas EP, which is great, and, like, I enjoy it, but, like, it doesn't have that, like,
I'm not gonna go
you
back to it. I'll listen once. I
yeah,
will not add it into the rotation of
yeah.
my Christmas
I
music.
might just if I want, like, just, like, I'm listening, I'm like, "Oh, let's just change it up." Like, you know what,
Right.
like, I listened to, Amy Grant's Christmas is
Ugh.
unbelievable. Her Christmas stuff's
Shout
so
out Amy
good.
Grant.
And then there was, like so I grew up with a bunch of, like I grew up in the era of, like, peak contemporary Christian, like,
Right.
CCM.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a group called Point of Grace. They
Yeah.
have it's a, like, I think it's 3 women, and I don't know if they're related or not. In my brain, they are, but I don't know. But, like, they have a phenomenal Christmas album. There's a group called Avalon,
Yeah.
in the '90s. There's a contemporary Christian group. They have one of my favorite but, like, even a couple like, some of their songs, like, in that era, it again, though, was, like, a lot of people like, recording someone else's song.
Right.
And so, like, it's not that I'm anti it, I just go back to, like, I wanna hear Bing
You
Crosby and
want
Frank
the
Sinatra sing.
OG of
Yeah,
the
I want but,
OGs.
like, I love Bing Crosby. Some people don't. Some people don't like it, and so that's why
Yeah.
they prefer the Michael Bublé version of
Yeah, I
White
get that.
Christmas or, It's the Most Wonderful Time of Year, whatever the song
Yes.
is,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I just I'm not that way,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know why part of why I think NSYNC's Christmas album is my favorite is because I remember have you ever seen the Christmas movie,
I gotta stop you right there. No.
alright, well, I'm gonna tell you. So there's a Christmas movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas, that
Yes.
came out in '94 or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'96, I think, and the closing credits of that movie, the song is "Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays," and I vividly remember hearing that as a kid, and I think
Mm,
that and so it's just some of it I do think is nostalgia, but, like,
yeah.
to your point, I don't know that there's a lot of people recording memorable Christmas songs that are, like,
Mm-mm.
the sound but and it just begs the question of, like, can it be done? And to your point, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of it feels like an extinction in a way.
It does.
Like
Yeah, no,
and I
I
don't
don't disagree with
and
you.
again, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's true. I don't know
Mhm.
if we will see a resurgence
I
because
mean, I
we
would
are
love to.
not the only listeners in the world, and, like, there is a whole subset and generation of kids growing up that might
Mhm.
actually be
Yeah, but
listening to Megan Maroney's Christmas stuff
but
and being like,
is
"This
it
is
gonna
it."
be though, like, is it gonna be, like, the modern pop? Because I don't love
I
modern pop
know.
that much.
I know. I
I
don't know. It's
I think I think pop is in a decline.
Mm.
My personal opinion, like, the quality of it. Like, I
Mm.
think 2016 pop was the peak.
But this is where I think if you think about your folks and what your folks listened to
Oh, they
growing up.
said the same thing.
Yeah, like, I just feel like
Yep.
I'm locked in 2000s hip hop, and I will never come out of
Mhm.
that. Like
Oh, I if I'm listening to hip hop, it is 2000s hip hop
yeah,
with no question
100%.
whatsoever.
Like, that
Yeah.
was fire.
Mhm. I mean, I think hip hop or, um, um, rap peak like, I think one of the greatest eras of our generation, not ever, but of our generation was '09, 2010 to 2012.
Mm.
Like, I think but I digress.
Yeah, we
That is
just went on a whole tangent. That was amazing.
Well, welcome to
No,
Deepish.
I love
That
it. That
is
makes me so because that is my brain
yeah, yeah, yeah,
24/7.
mine too. But I get all of this started because, like, I love Michael Bublé. I think he's an incredible
Yeah.
vocalist,
Shout out.
but I just don't think it's the same reason why I think Elf is a bad Christmas movie. Yeah.
Well, it's been a great
What and
podcast.
but no, here's the thing though, it's like, you're not going to find someone who loves Christmas more than me. I guarantee it. But in the scope of great Christmas movies, it's not top 10. I I would potentially argue it's not top 15 or 20. It's just become beloved because everyone
Roast this
but
man
no,
in the
literally
comments.
listen. Will Ferrell is just beloved as an actor. And I think that is what has carried that movie. But like my son, I've raised him right. You know what his top 2 favorite Christmas movies are? White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, like it's like old school, like
Yeah, that's
it.
great.
And I think, but here's my thing though with, and I went on a whole tangent about this already on an episode, and I'm gonna continue it. With Elf, there's no the humor in it. I don't think is that funny,
Okay.
and the meaning of it is too short lived.
Okay.
So like because I love in Christmas movies, like Four Christmases, the humor in that, it's all humor
Right.
until the last 5 minutes, essentially.
Right.
But the humor in that far outweighs the weird humor of Elf. Like there's something about the like utter belief that he is an elf thing that just I'm like, I just don't. And it's not that I don't watch it. I watch it and I love the last 10 minutes of where like it all comes together and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I think that's a beautiful thing of where like the dad starts to believe in Christmas again and all that.
Right.
Like yeah, that's great, but I'm like the beginning of it, I'm like you just lose me. And but what's funny now is now my son, my 8-year-old, my wife's family thinks it's the greatest Christmas movie ever, and I'm just like, no, it's. And so now my son's like, that movie sucks. It's trash. And so because he just wants my approval, and I'm
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know what?
yeah.
I'm just gonna let it ride. I think it's awesome. Speaking of that, my wife just got a porch goose for Christmas.
Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. See my opinion as well. So
No, I don't even know what that is.
yeah, I'm gonna explain it to you.
Okay.
So it is a literal clay. I don't know what porcelain goose that you put on your front porch, and you dress it up with the seasons and with the month.
I mean, that's kind of.
You would think so. And I think it's the most ridiculously heinous thing in the world. And my wife actually is a little upset with me over how I reacted to it because I told her.
Wait, is this a thing that everyone does? Like, is this a known thing that people have?
I had never heard of it until 6 months ago when we bought our house. And
where does this originate?
I think it's a thing in the South. I genuinely don't know. But so she's like, I want a porch goose. I'm like, I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, our house is stunning and I just don't want a goose on the front porch dressed up. And so she got one. She said something. I was like, we do not need one. Well, then my in-laws got her one for Christmas. And I'm like, that thing can go on the back porch. It's not going on the front porch of my house. Absolutely not. She goes, my name's on the deed. I said, my name's first. But so all of that to say,
death to the porch goose.
it's what's bad is now everyone is sending me, like it's become like known that I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's like it something like so my in-laws not only got her the porch goose, got her clothes for the porch goose.
You know, this is really starting to give me people who dress up their dogs.
Okay, see, now we're getting into a weird spot, and that's why I want people on my side in this. And
Yeah, like what is she?
The amount of people on my side is very minimal.
I'm sure your wife is a beautiful, kind soul, and I'm sure she's an angel. I just like my brain immediately goes to like her having a closet that is just like the outfits for the goose, and then it makes me worried about where does that evolve to? That's your gateway drug,
and that's what I'm saying. And so now my oldest though, he's like, Mom, I think it's ridiculous, and she's like mad a little, I think, because I have him on my side, and that was a complete random tangent. I just really needed to get off my chest that I think the porch goose is ridiculous. Okay, so back to growing up in Canada. So, you. Sorry, my brain is broken.
No, dude, this is great.
So you grew up in. So you didn't grow up in a family with music.
No,
but you did. You're talking about Spice Girls.
Yeah, I would be like, I would do little talent shows to my 22 teddy bears, and I would do the talent show at school, and I would sing Arms of an Angel by Sarah McLachlan to the track, like,
No
with
way.
Sarah, you know, like, because that's all you
Shout
could
out
do
Sarah
back then.
McLachlan. Yep.
Because karaoke versions weren't really accessible
Yep.
at the time.
Yep.
Um,
Especially not in small town Canada.
no. And I just wanted to do something in
Yeah.
music, but I just didn't know how. Like, I had nobody directing me.
Yeah.
So I spent most of my, you know, late teens into my early 20s snowboarding because the correlation between that and music is obviously a straight line.
Yep. It is very much so. I know a lot of people have gone snowboarding to music careers.
Yeah, weird though. So then, anyways, I was in Banff, and I remember distinctively a day, and I have a poor memory. I don't have a lot of recollection of my childhood. I don't know a lot. I can't remember a lot of things in my life, but I remember this day very clearly of someone in Banff was like, they called me a local, and I was like, oh, I gotta get out. Because the second you're a local, like, you're gonna get comfortable. And then all of a sudden 10 years is gonna go by and you're gonna be like, why am I still living in this town?
Yeah, and you just and I like I get the vibe from you that like you are not a type of person who wants to get bad comfortable. Or weirdly
No,
comfortable somewhere.
no.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew I was like that. I
Yeah.
think it was very much just like a
How old were you at the time?
19.
So like young adult.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'd spent that last like 2 years basically just like trying to be a professional snowboarder, doing the thing, like spending as much time on snow as I could, like trying to meet people and maybe make that a career.
Okay.
I've had a really bad collarbone break and I just never bounced back from it, which was like so obvious. Like, this is not going to be your last injury. And if you can't bounce back from this, I broke it twice. I like broke it once, went back too early, broke it again.
Okay.
Anyways, but I got on a red eye bus and I moved to Vancouver.
Okay.
To move into a studio house with these guys, and it was god awful. It was so bad. But that kind of like, I'd never been to Vancouver. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was gonna pursue music. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
And just by the right sort of like people I'd met, like the day that I moved even was just, it was very obvious that I was going to try to find a way to make it happen. And over the years, I just started, you know, doing music in different capacities. And I'd met a guy at the time who also really loved music and also really loved snowboarding. And we kind of started a band. And that evolved into me going out on my own.
Okay.
And then in 2017, I was doing a pop single with a producer in LA at Capitol, which was crazy. I wasn't signed to Capitol. It just happened. And these guys from St. Louis saw I guess because he was reposting some of the stuff I was posting on my stories, the producer, and these guys were like, hey, like, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And one of them, shout out John Strandell, he was like, why aren't you doing country music? And I was like, oh, because I grew up on country music.
Yeah.
But Shania Twain was a legend in Ontario. She was from Deerhurst. Like, it was so cool. I was like, weird. And pop music never worked for me.
Okay.
I loved Ellie Goulding. I love Lady Gaga. I love Bat for Lashes. I wanted to be Lorde. Like, I wanted to be that. But it never quite worked.
Really?
And I found writing it at the time so hard. Now it's so easy for me. But like back then, it was like, it just wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. And so John and I and a couple of other people got on Zoom in 2017 before anybody was Zoom writing ever.
Oh, 100%.
And we wrote Do-Over, which was based on, I'd been A/B testing lyrics on my Instagram stories because I couldn't commit to lyrics. I was really green. And so I would set a timer for 5-10 minutes and I'd have to write out something. So it was probably more of a poem.
Yeah.
And then like put swirls on it and like just make it look cool. As what looking cool could be in 2017 on 100%. Instagram stories. And
I forgot Instagram stories existed in
I know,
2017.
totally. And I was like posting these things and like trying to commit to lyrics, and then if people reacted to them, I would screenshot it and then save it for a session. But I wasn't co-writing yet.
Okay.
So anyways, got on Zoom with John and these guys, and he was like, what was that Do-Over thing?
Yeah.
So I pulled it from my Instagram stories and we wrote Do-Over, and that ended up being my debut single.
In country music.
In country music.
No
and
way.
he
And
ended
you're
up
still living in LA at the time?
No, I was living in Canada. I was in
way.
Vancouver. I just flown to LA to do that pop thing.
Okay, so got you.
And so then Do-Over kind of sat in our minds, and it was just really sticky at the time. And so John ended up producing my first 2 singles. I came to Nashville. I think it might have been 2018, 2019.
No way.
Maybe 2018. And then we produced him at Gnome Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd come down from St. Louis. And that changed everything.
Wow.
And then it became so obvious to me. I was like, God, like, why? What have I been doing?
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened. I was working in corporate, but our budgets were frozen, so I could just write all day.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started writing on Zoom with anybody and anyone who would write with me. And I think 2020 I wrote like 300 songs or something stupid, because I would just work for the first 3 hours of my day. By 10 a.m. I was on Zoom writing songs. Do that 2 or 3 times a day. Every day.
So now it's 2026.
Yeah.
How many? Which is
whoa, dude.
That brings up a point that I think we're living in a simulation ever since COVID. I think the world ended.
Man.
Hear me out. This is insane, and someone's gonna be like, "You're such an idiot," and you know what? I am, and I'm fine with it. I think the world collectively ended when the bomb went off in Nashville in December of 2020, and my mom is like, "How? Like it was a bomb in one place." I'm like, "Yeah, but somehow." That connected all the dots, and ever since we've been living in a simulation.
I do feel like time moved faster.
Time has been so much faster ever since 2020.
Yeah,
like the simulation's low-key a joke, sort of. Part of me sort of believes it, but in all seriousness, like time has flown.
Yeah, like 2020 still feels very close to me, and I don't know if that's just because we were all so traumatized by what happened.
And you were still were you still living in Canada?
I was in Canada.
Oh, and it was like hardcore up there with regulations and stuff. I feel like, wasn't it?
But we didn't know any. You didn't know any different.
Yeah,
like if you were just in it. Like I remember we were getting ready because I worked for a big plant-based supplement company, and we were in the office and we were getting ready for a huge trade show that we were supposed to fly to. And the word came out that it was canceled due to everybody having to get locked up, and or whatever.
Locked up is such a wild way to talk about it.
Crazy.
But honestly,
anyways.
But thinking back on it, was it kind of like that? Maybe.
Yeah.
But
some people would definitely take that much passion to it. 100%. But I remember our office being like, "Hey guys, we're gonna just shut down for 2 weeks and we'll see you back." And then being like, "Oh yeah, this is like different."
Yeah. No, 100%.
But I know a lot of people struggled through that time. I didn't. I thrived. Like I was coaching CrossFit, so I could still go to the gym if nobody else was there. So I was training super hard, and I was writing songs, and I was getting paid a salary. Like I was living life.
Yeah. It was kind of the jumpstart you needed.
Yeah.
So let me interrupt you for a second. So you wrote 300 songs in 2020.
Yeah.
How many songs have you released since that first do-over single?
I think I'm 14 singles deep.
Okay. So
none from what I wrote in 2020.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, what is the process for you like then of where you write 300 songs in a 9-month time span, basically, to where you have only released 14 songs and none of them were from those 300?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that a lot of those songs sucked.
Okay.
Like, I bet you some of them are great in their own way, and I bet you if I revisited some of them, I could probably like salvage them or like improve them in some way. But I was learning how to write. Like I was learning how to co-write and what that meant, and how to be a good collaborator, how to be a good artist in the room, how to be a good writer in a room for another artist. Like I was learning the craft. Like I was not going into those sessions being like, I know what I'm doing. I mean, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but like, you know, Do Over and Before You Leave as the first 2 singles were just songs that I had. This wasn't like I knew what I was doing and this is really what I want to say right now. I think over the years I've gotten closer and closer to like, this is what I want to say. And everything I've ever done, I've built my career on sad songs. I've built my career on what's been happening in my life. And I think what I realized is that the reason why pop never worked is because I wasn't writing about my life.
Yeah.
I was trying to write another Lorde song. I was trying to write another Ellie Goulding song. I was never writing about what I was experiencing.
And I think that is, we talked before we started recording, but I think that goes back to the authenticity conversation. That at the end of the day, like whether you're writing a story or you're writing a song about your life, people want it to feel authentic.
Yeah, dude.
And I think that is like, I mean, I was like, I've said this on the podcast, but like I was like everyone in in the 2012 to 2018 era of country music where I hated on it. I'm like, this sucks. This is, and now I go back. I'm
Sure.
like, God, this was so good.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the same reason why everybody hated on Nickelback for 15 years because it was just
Totally.
what you did, and now you listen to it, you're like, oh my God, Nickelback's in.
Dude, when I played Boots and Hearts in Canada,
Yeah,
they headlined that
no
year,
way.
and, I played the same day as them, so I can be like, "Yeah, I opened for
Yeah,
Nickelback
100. I love
at the
that's
1
one
PM
of the
slot
best.
on a
One of the
whole
best.
different stage."
One of the best
It's
things
crazy.
about like musicians is like you're the 14th opener for a band. I open.
Hell yeah, you can
I
still say it,
open.
take that. But I remember being like, "I don't really care about the set," and then I was watching it happen. 1, it was it was unbelievable. Like,
Really?
1, the crowd was absolutely
Yeah.
insane, but, like, you probably don't know the title of the Nickelback song, you might.
But you know the
You
song.
know the song,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah.
was one of the best sets I think I've ever watched in my life, and I didn't actively listen to Nickelback growing up
That's
because we all
yep.
hated them.
Yeah,
But he jokes about it too, he's like,
yep.
"I know you all, like, just
Yeah.
dragged us for so long, but look at you now, you're
Yeah,
here watching
that
us."
is what like, I just sent so my childhood best friend, we were born 5 days apart, grew up together, and we used to drag them over photographs, and I don't know
Yeah.
why other than it was like, "Look at this
This
photograph." It
photograph,
was
yeah.
just like it was but now you listen, you're like, "God, this song's kinda fire," and, like, I just sent it to him the other
So
day
good.
because they recorded live in Nashville, like, last year sometime, or
Unreal.
maybe it's 2 years ago, but so um, I think though it's like I'm trying to remember my train of thought.
You're
I
good.
guess but music. You're talking about music and like the authenticity side is like, I think though that is why like I feel like there's a resurgence of country music
Mhm,
like across the board.
mhm.
And I feel like the style of country music is shifting again, like
Yep,
because it did go for like I don't want to use the term bro country because I just feel like it's not fair to what that era of country music was.
right.
But I feel like now you're getting back to that 80s, 90s feel. Like, you look at who are the biggest artists, right? Like, the new, younger,
Mhm,
up and coming biggest artists are, like, people like Zach Top and that whole,
mhm,
like, iteration of artists.
mhm.
It's, I feel like that is though, what's going on is that authenticity piece.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like that is what makes country music so special, is, like,
Yeah,
whether it's someone's writing a song about themselves
mhm,
or someone's writing a song about a story, like,
yeah.
Riley Green's one of my favorite songs of his is Jesus Saves.
Mm,
And it's a story,
yeah,
but there's, like, an authentic piece of that story of,
sure.
like I mean, and now that I've gotten older, like, too, and have, multiple children, I think one of the greatest country music songs ever recorded is Remember When.
Mm,
Alan Jackson. I just I gen like, and I
that's a
what's
great
my
song.
wife makes so much fun of me. That was the first song I played for our youngest Harvey when we got in the car and I was like, "All right, Harv, you're gonna learn country music today."
Mm,
And the first song, and I'm sitting in the driver's seat driving home, and I am up. Like, I can't and when I hear that first chord, I'm done. Like, I
mm.
start, but all of that to say, it's because you see yourself in those shoes. And I think
Yes.
that is where, like, the vibe I get from you when you talk about why you feel like pop music didn't land for you was you weren't writing about you.
I was writing about my
You're just trying
life.
to write a hit.
Yeah, and I was trying to write something that I thought that people would like because they like
Mhm.
this person, and,
Yeah.
I mean, I know now I know now what I'm supposed to talk about for the
Mhm.
most part.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's definitely like, I spent the last year writing a lot of things, and I know when a song is supposed to come out. Like, I
Mhm.
just know.
Mhm.
And, like, you write a boatload of songs to get to those 10 or whatever it
Sure.
is, but, like, it's always the songs that felt the most real to me the day that we wrote them,
Mhm.
that regardless of how much time goes by,
Mhm.
I know that that song's gonna come out. I
Yeah.
just don't know when. And I mean, like, for me, I've always said, because everyone's like, "Well, sad songs, like, bah," like,
I
doesn't
love
that
sad
get old?
songs.
So do I. Like,
Yeah.
I go to the gym listening to sad songs. Like, I'll be bopping around the gym, and if you heard what's in my headphones, you're
Yep.
like, "That is not the same vibe."
Yeah.
But I've always said that, like, what I love about sad songs is that in the moment, like, if you're going through it,
Mhm.
truly at your deepest depths of, like, sadness
Mhm.
and loneliness, you feel seen, and
Mhm.
you can it's cathartic for the
Yep.
listener. But what people I think don't talk about enough is that you can listen to a sad song 6 years later, 5 months later, 6 years later, whatever, and it will catapult you back to the time that
Yeah.
you were
Nope.
listening to it, and you
1000%.
get to
Yep.
see how far you've come.
Well, and I think that is one of the most beautiful things to me, and I feel like I talked about this on an episode, but, like, I love music, so I'm just gonna say it again.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the most beautiful things about music is that you you identify with that song with a season of life. And
Yes.
so, like, Hallie Kearns, who's a very dear friend of ours, one of our closest friends, when she was on, we talked about I think I told the story, and if not, I'm telling it now. She released a song in, like, 2021, 2022, I don't remember what year it was, called "Are You Okay?"
Mm.
And it came out, I was like, "Oh, this is sick." It's kind of like one of those, like, sad, self-reflective songs, and she
Mm.
might not agree that it's a sad song, it's kind of a sad song, but it is I remember one day driving home, and it came on, and I don't think I turned it on, I think it just came on, a playlist I was listening to, and it was in a time of my life where no one knew how I was doing. No one
Mm.
knew like, other than Tori, no one knew that, like, I was depressed, I was anxious, I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, like, I was in, like, the one of the darkest spots of my
Mm.
life. And there's a part of the song that she's like if I remember correctly, the way the song goes, it's like the mom is calling to check on their child, and it's like there's a line of like, "I'm just checking in on you," and then it's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like I remember texting her and being like, "I'm literally weeping right now." And I told her the story, and I'm like but it's that though, it's like when I hear that, like, I go back to, like to your point, like, you hear a song and you're like, "Oh, I feel seen by" no, even though, like, the person that recorded the song may never know.
Totally.
And I just and I think though that is something that is so beautiful about writing music or listening to music and appreciating the art is how much that music like, how much you can identify with it.
Well, that and, like, I think for folks who can't name a feeling
Yeah,
or don't know how
100%.
to, it's
Mhm.
like being able to feel the thing and being able to name it through something that you had no control
Yeah,
over, and,
right.
like, I think if I'm doing my job right for my own personal music is
Mhm,
when somebody feels something,
mhm.
and, like, I write all the types of country for other people, but, like, I know for me, if I'm making somebody feel something,
Yeah.
whatever the feeling is, I'm doing my job right.
Mhm,
Because I just think we get so much farther as as humanity
mhm.
by feeling
Yeah, no, I
and
agree.
like not dumbing down those things.
Yep,
And
right.
some people might call it dramatic, some people might call it whatever, but I just think like you gotta be able to feel
Mhm.
and be vulnerable.
And I think part of where that conversation comes in for me is I think our generation for a long time was told to suppress our
Oh,
feelings.
yeah. Talk about it. Like, I mean, our folks for sure, like,
Yeah.
they weren't built um, in a household where that
Mhm.
was accepted,
No.
so why would we know any different? Like,
Mhm.
I think you have to try really hard to fight that off.
Mhm.
I mean,
And
I
it's hard to.
feel
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and, like and my parents, like, now, I mean, there's 4 of us. My youngest sister was adopted, like, 9 years 8 years ago yesterday, I think, when we're recording this.
Mm.
But the oldest 3 of us are all adults, all out of the house, live on our own, and I think my parents have done a very good job as we have gone adults of, like, acknowledging where that wasn't present when we were kids,
Mhm.
and also do a very good job now of, like, being I think something that, like, my wife and I talked about this, I think where a lot of parents struggle is they don't know how to have adult children.
Right.
Like, they want
Well,
to
it's their first time living.
100%, and I think we as kids, we can lose sight of that too towards our parents of, like, it's their first time doing this too, just the same ways that it's your first time living
Mm.
this season of life, and I think at the end of the day, the greater majority of parents want to help you. It's just they don't know how. Like they
Totally.
lose the sight of how to do that when you become adults. But like I think for me, my parents have done really well. Of like when I was going through like that really hard season of life, left a job. My like week after I quit, we went to West Virginia. I'm like, all I need in life right now is I want to go play golf with my dad. It's like one of my favorite things to do. And there's no one I enjoy playing golf more than him. Like, I love playing golf with my buddies. We have a blast, but, like, my dad and I just went off. I was just ripping up and down every side, and I looked at Pops, I was like, "Sorry, like, I probably shouldn't be saying this." He's like, "Honestly, I'm the best person for you to say it to."
Mm.
But all of that to say, what my parents do very, very well for me as an adult child is give me that space. Like, if I want to talk to them about what's going on, they're not gonna parent me. They're not gonna, like, be
Mhm.
like, "Oh," they're gonna give me space to, like, talk about what's going on and to,
Mhm.
like in to express those things and like that. And so I just think to your point of like not every parent of that generation, and not that I felt like I had that necessarily when I was younger, and they probably would acknowledge that they didn't always do the best job of that. But I think that is why our generation fights so hard the other way of on almost oversharing is because
Totally.
we didn't always have that growing up, and not
Mhm.
every household is like that. And not every kid now as an adult also has the opportunity to be honest with their parents. But it's just
Mhm.
it's hard though because as a parent now, I have a different perspective too of where it's like I hate the shitting on parents that exists in our generation of like, and I'm not, this is gonna sound probably a little hateful, not to discredit the trauma that anybody may have
Sure.
from their parents,
Sure.
because there are really bad parents out there.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
the nature
Yeah, the
of the
pendulum
circle of
has to
life.
swing
Yeah.
both ways.
But I also hate the like I just because as a parent, I'm like, God, I'd hate for someday. Like I am trying my damnedest
Of course.
to do my best to raise my kid. And there are or my sons, there are going to be things where in 20 years they're gonna be like, "You really fucked that up, Bob."
Totally.
You know, and it's and that is and
Totally.
I'm okay with that, but it's like I also don't like so I feel for the parents that's like they are trying their best and then their kids are like, "You really sucked." And it's like, "Oh, I think you do the best with what you know in that moment,
Right.
and you're gonna look like." I look back on when my oldest was younger, I'm like, "Yeah, really could have done this better."
Sure.
You know? I don't remember how I got on that
It's
tangent, so I'm
okay.
sorry,
We love it. No,
but
it's great.
and I think we were talking
We're
about,
talking
like,
about feelings.
feelings
Yeah.
and with music, how much that like, we were talking about our generation doesn't necessarily know how to express it well,
Mhm.
and so what music can do
Is help that.
is help that.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's like music has gotten me through so many things,
Mhm.
both as a writer and as a
Yeah.
performer and as a listener. Like
Mhm.
there's songs I go back to now that I'm like, I needed that
Mhm.
today.
You know, when a newer song that I, uh, listen to all the time, 'cause, like, I'm so demented in this. I don't demented might not be the right word.
That's crazy.
It's a psycho thing to say, but I love songs that make you cry.
Oh,
Like, I really do, and
dude, take me to the deepest, darkest pits of
no, f
sadness.
but
Like,
I think it's because so I think some of it's the way that I'm wired. I think it's the same reason why, like, I love to watch movies that make me cry
oh no, no, no.
because, like, I so the way I'm wired, like, I can suppress feelings very easily
Mm.
to just, like, get it done,
Yeah.
and so I think music and entertainment can, like, help me feel something in that way.
Do you feel like it makes you feel safe and then that allows you to like feel deeper and you can kind of blame it on something
Oh, probably so.
specific so
Yeah,
that
like,
it
I've
allows you
never
to
thought of it
cry?
that way, but probably so, because
Yeah.
I think that is part of the way that I'm wired. So, like, have you ever studied the Enneagram?
Okay,
A
you
little bit?
Americans and your dang
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not
Enneagrams.
okay, hold on, but let me preface this. I don't, like, live and die by it,
Yeah,
by
but
any
I
stretch of
feel like
imagination.
people that are born in this country pop out and then they're like, we're gonna do the
Yeah,
Enneagram
yeah, yeah, no,
next.
that no, one thou there are people who are, like, utterly
Yeah, they're like, I'm an
yeah,
ENFJ, and you're
yeah.
like, got it, sister. I'm
What
a
it's
Capricorn.
well, it's like well, where I hate it is where people use it as an excuse to be an asshole, and I'm just like, just
Mm.
admit you're an asshole, like, you don't
Yeah,
need an
no.
excuse, just say like, "Hey, my name's Bob and I'm an asshole." That's a quote from, sort of from Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. He's like, you don't like he was talking about changing your name, and he's like, "You don't introduce yourself, say, 'Hey, my name's Jim,' but it used to be asshole." You just say, "Hey, my name's Jim." Anyways, but I had a life coach who is an Enneagram, like, specialist, and
Okay.
with her shout out Jackie Brewster, you're an angel sent from above,
Cookie.
but, with her, like, it was very much like, "Okay, this is not excuse to be a bad human.
Yeah.
This is education to how you need to grow."
Listen, I
You know?
understand
But
and
no,
respect.
you're right, like
It becomes a whole
yeah,
brand.
yeah, right, and I don't love that, but with my I'm an Enneagram 3 and, like, I just like, I'm just wired of, like,
Yeah.
not always being authentic,
Yeah.
just, like, putting, like anyways, I digress in that, but, um, one of the songs that, like, just freaking crushes
Can't
me.
wait. Tell me.
Have you heard Kenny Chesney's "Wherever You Are Tonight"?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's a deep cut on his new I think it's still his newest album, but that's one of the songs, like, that comes on, and I'm like,
You just lose
"Oh,
it.
what?" And, like, what was funny was the first time that it ever clicked what he was talking about, because like, you know, you hear songs and, like, in the background is playing or something, you listen to an album, and it does
Yeah.
all the nuance of it doesn't click. We were on vacation, and, I'm sitting there with my grandpa, and we listen to music 24/7 on vacation. I've curated playlists. I have one for the day, one for the night, and just perfect.
Love it.
And we're standing there, and I don't remember what we were doing. We're standing in the kitchen, that song comes on, and he just starts blubbering. And I'm like, "What are you crying about?" And then I turned it and I, like, listened to it, and I'm freaking bawling, and I'm like
Right.
but one of the best moments of where I got someone to cry over music was, my mom and dad. I was up there a year ago, and just me and Roman were up there, and my dad and I went to, pick up dinner, and I was like, "Pops, I gotta play this song for you." And he's like, "Okay, what?" And I played him Steven Wilson Jr. and Hardy's version of Father Son. And my grandfather, has been dead for 14 years this March. Or 15 years this March, excuse me. So it's, like, almost 14 years at the time. And I played it, and my dad is like, "Why did you just do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I wanted you to feel something too."
Yeah.
And so then we got home, and my dad's like, "Play that song for your mom." And so I turned the music, like, the live version of them recording it in that, living room together, and
Yeah.
my mom was like, "Why did you just do that?"
Yeah,
Because,
it's
like,
an
both of their
incredible
dads are
play.
now gone,
Yeah.
but that is just one of those songs of, like, there's just so much in that again, it's just like have you heard him tell the story
I have. I
of his
actually
dad?
yes, I have, and he talks about it on that Theo
Yes,
episode
he
too.
does. Mhm,
But even just his ability to tell that story with his
mhm.
father is incredible. Like, the experience he had with his father is
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh my gosh. Like, and to I just yeah, I don't know that I could tell a story without crying. But,
No,
like,
I know.
it was so like, kinda same topic, but change gears, like, the switch for you from pop to country was very natural.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Because for
was yeah.
you, it gave you the opportunity to find an authenticity and a vulnerability in writing that you didn't have in, in pop when
Yeah.
you did. So how long were you pursuing pop before that shift happened? Because the shift happened when, like, 17, 18, right, is what you said?
I 4 or 5 years?
Okay.
I've been doing it in different capacities, and,
Mhm,
like, I was doing the rock electro thing, the pop thing, like, I'd done a couple different iterations of stuff.
mhm,
But I would say, like, we were cooking with gasoline
mhm.
once Do Over was written.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was 17, and then so when did you move to Nashville?
3 years ago, 3.5 years ago?
So, like, 22, 23, somewhere in
I think
there?
so, yeah.
Okay. So you tell me a little bit about that
Yeah.
before we started recording. And I don't know, I might leave that story in. I think it's incredible. But what was your first okay, so you were telling me you had an offer to come write
Yeah,
with a label.
yeah, yeah, and, initially, I was just supposed to fly out
Mhm,
and fly back because my
mhm,
visa wasn't there yet,
mhm.
and I was at the mall in Vancouver, and
Shout out Robin Sparkles.
shout out Robinson.
It all comes back.
My dad was like, "Have you checked your visa?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna have it in time. I'm just gonna
Mhm,
have to hope that when I cross the border, they're just gonna let me enter as a visitor because I
mhm,
think it can be challenging when you have a visa in process."
mhm,
And I had a ticket to come back.
mhm,
Um, and I was on the phone with my dad and I hung up and I was like, "I'll just check because you can
mhm.
check online." And it said approved. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
I called him back. I was like, "I got it." And he was
Yeah.
like, "You have 8 hours. Go home, pack your stuff. You can be in Nashville by Saturday." Like, what? Like, there's no point in you flying all the way there to fly all the way back and
Yep,
then do all of this. Like,
yep.
just get rid of your
Just
last bit of
go.
stuff. And I'd already been like selling things. Like, I
Mhm,
knew it was close. Like,
mhm.
I was in my mind because I was flying and flying back. I was gonna be leaving in 2 weeks anyways.
Okay.
But I put up a bunch of my last things for free on the building group chat that we
Mhm.
had, and I didn't even have the right paperwork. The American Federation of Musicians, I called them and it was like the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do I do? Like, I gotta be there." And they were like, "Listen, we'll send you some stuff tomorrow morning, print it all out. They might say no.
Wow.
So
Okay.
just be willing."
Yeah.
I was stress sweating crossing the border, and they bring you in to get photographed and stamp your
Mhm,
stuff, and I was like, "I don't have these things, but I have these things," sort of thing,
mhm.
and they went away, and they came back, and I was just sweating,
Yeah, 100%.
and they stamped my visa, and they handed it to me, and I drove over the border, and I started sobbing. My little Fiat 500 was full. My whole that became my whole life, and I'd
Yeah.
lived in the same apartment for almost 10 years. So
Wow.
I got rid of 90% of my things. And I remember driving thinking,
Yeah.
like, this is happening.
Mhm.
And I drove for 3 days and, week 1, instead of flying, obviously, I canceled my flight the second I crossed the border.
Yep.
And, week 1 was me writing with a big label, and,
Mhm.
they'd set up a bunch of sessions for me, and I played for their exec team, and it didn't inevitably didn't work out, and I think it was actually really great that it didn't.
Mhm.
Um, but it was one of the craziest weeks of my life, and, it's so it's so crazy to think about because
Yeah.
I was so green. I was still so green, and I'm still not. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm a professional at all, but, like, the amount of growth that happens when you truly throw yourself into the fire, and,
Yep.
like, having done this now for a couple years being here, and it's crazy how much has changed, and how
Mhm.
I truly believe that once you commit to the bit and you just let go of everything and say, like, "Live and let be, and we're just gonna see what
Sure.
happens," stuff really does
Well,
happen.
and I mean, it wasn't just like you were moving an hour away to pursue a dream, like,
No.
you were starting over
But yeah,
entirely, like, full blown.
in my
Yeah.
30s. Like, that was
Was there any
crazy.
part of you that contemplated not doing it?
Yeah. I was really scared
Yeah.
because I have a delusion to this for sure. Like,
Mhm.
there is a delusion that I believe I can do this, and
Well, but I feel like you have to have that,
you have
you
to,
know?
but there was no one in my corner being like, there was a couple people, but, like, not people that have any credibility in the music
Mhm.
industry. Like, it was
Yeah.
people that have known me for a long time that are like, "You can do anything. I've watched you do some of the
Well, and
craziest
it's
shit."
scary. It's You have to have those people,
Mhm.
but it's also scary to have those people in a good
Yeah.
way because,
Yeah.
like, you need okay, it's like this podcast. Like, I have people that's like, "This thing's gonna blow up," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, I appreciate that,
Yeah. But
but, like, you know?" And so it's like,
yeah.
you do need that that's, like, the affirmation of, like, "Okay, I'm not insane that I am at least somewhat decent at what I'm
Right.
doing."
Right.
But I think the hard part is with the delusion not getting lost in it because, like, some of
Yeah.
it I think some of the fear in that, though, comes with, like, people who are god awful at something, and someone's like, "You're great, sweetie."
Yeah, that
You
drives me
know?
crazy, and
Yeah.
I think that, like, if you love something and you just wanna do it because you love it for the love of
Mhm.
the game,
Yeah,
you
right.
should do that. You
Mhm.
should.
Yep.
I wholeheartedly believe that
Mhm.
because I would hate to live my life doing something I hated or not doing something because someone said I shouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Where I get hung up on that, though, is when you see people in the comment section just, like, gas it. I'm like, "I can't even get 2 comments, let alone these people out here getting the craziest things." You know what I mean? Like, that's when it drives me
I
insane.
saw something the other day, and I'm gonna be very, very vague on what I'm about to say.
You got one.
But I saw something, somebody released something, and people like, what I saw, I literally immediately sent it to my wife and 2 of my closest friends, and I'm like, "This is literally hot garbage."
Yeah, there's a lot of times in a
And
week where I'm like, "How is this
and
performing?"
people blowing it up just because of
Yeah,
the subject,
sure.
but the subject sucked.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I feel like with this has come with maturity and age and time, and I'm just like, "Hey, you know what? It's fine." Like, I don't really care, but I'm also like, it's just the thing of and I think it's the nature of being a fan of something in general is,
Mhm.
like, you put blinders on and, like, even if somebody that I love releases bad music, I'm not gonna be like, "It's bad,"
Mhm.
just because I love the person or like, their work.
Yeah.
But no, it is I last week, I really on the first episode of this podcast, or the second, third, whatever, the first guest I had, and I guess it was third episode, my hot take was about Jenny's ice cream. I don't think it's good. Um, if you're new around here, I don't think it's great. Go to Golly G's in Pleasant View, not to Jenny's, but I digress. Jenny's, it's if you're the CEO and you hear this, my opinion, please don't cease and desist. But I posted the clip on TikTok, and like I have this like instinctive like if you hate, I kind of like it. Like
Oh.
I kind of like people being like you're not good enough or being like why are you doing this or something. So like when it just like
Right.
it adds fuel to the fire for me because then I'm just like whatever I'm doing is successful, I'll remember you. That's not a very
Yeah, yeah,
healthy
yeah.
thing. But I
No,
but
but
I
I
know
get
it.
that though.
So I posted this reel talking about how I thought Jenny's wasn't great.
Yeah. That you
And
got
or this it was on TikTok. And this guy commented and was like, do you really think anybody cares about your opinion about a sweet treat? And I responded, I said, um, or he said something, that wasn't his first comment. He said something along those lines, and I commented, I'm like, well, you can come to us for all of perfect opinions on ice cream. And he responded, and he was like, you really think anybody cares?
you're sitting here commenting to
And
me.
I literally responded, I said, you cared enough to not only comment once, but to come back. And I'm like, it's something
Talk about it.
my buddy Dustin, who helps with all of our artwork and everything, he's like, bro. And I'm like, no, like I don't I'm like, no, like if you comment, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna clap back too. Like
Absolutely.
also like this is my podcast. I can talk about whatever the hell I want to, first
Yeah.
of all. And
Why are
second of
you
all,
still here?
yeah,
Why did you listen to the whole take?
no, that's what's funny to me is like I was talking to someone, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I just was talking with someone the other day. They're like, it is astounding to me the time people put in to comment on things that they like. But at the end of the day, a comment's a comment. Like you want to
Right.
hate, you can hate.
Engagement, bring it on.
Yeah, like I understand that I am not for everyone, and I am a odd dichotomy of a human.
Right.
It's like I understand not everyone's gonna like what I have to say, but you know
Sure.
what? Like hopefully you like the guests I have, so you'll at least
Sure.
suffer through listening to me talk for
Sure.
the guests I have.
Sure.
But hey, if you want to comment, I don't care if you hate. I'll comment right back to you.
Totally.
So like, it doesn't offend me that you commented. I just think it's hilarious that you hated what I had to say so much to comment twice and say no one cares, but you cared enough to.
Totally.
I was dying.
No, I love that. Like, get the engagement up.
100%.
Bring the heat.
When I had Deck of Hearts on, they literally said that. They're like, because they got a ton of hate when they were on The Voice. Like they like their audition, they were unbelievable. They sang Heads Carolina, unreal rendition of it, just beautiful. And people commented like to the point where like Reba's begging him to be on her team and all this. She falls on the floor and they pick Niall. We get it. We talked all through all of that and like the feeling that was. But then people commented on the reel on Instagram were like, it's called The Voice, not The Voices. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, like we were kind of surprised by like
that's
the amount of
wild.
hate we got. But so what was I'm very curious. I was thinking about this before we started recording. What was your first, good or bad, welcome to Nashville moment? Where you were like, whether it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to experience that, or oh my God, I know nothing.
I mean, apropos our conversation earlier, that week one, my last session,
Yeah.
with in that like little camp was writing Ernest walking in.
Yeah.
And sitting down at the table, grabbing a guitar, and I was like,
and clearly you know who he is. Like you're not like,
duh.
Yeah,
I mean, like it was a master class in songwriting. And then he put the guitar up and said, send me the work tape.
Did that song ever get cut?
No, but I do feel like it will be something I do release at some
point. So were you writing in that session? Were you writing for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Golly. Crazy. Yeah.
Does he know that you might cut it someday?
No.
No.
No, of course not. And I guarantee you when it does come out, unless something happens and we become buds, he's never.
I don't know.
He might get the text to be like, yeah, it's gonna happen, and then.
Yeah, but see, like I feel though, like I don't know, Ernest. Ernest, if you hear this, I would love for you to come on the pod.
Bro, I'll probably cut that song.
Yeah, please God, come on the pod and we'll have a big time. Have you ever listened to his podcast that he used to have?
No.
Say that dude is hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever listened to.
in the brief experience I had with him, that does not shock me.
But I feel like I feel like he's a chronically online human. So like I feel like if you release the song, I think because he like wrote it with you, I feel like my personal opinion, I feel like he would know. But like so that's your first 5 days at Nashville, you get a welcome to Nashville moment. What's that like though, so that was what, 23 probably? 22?
22, 23, 25. Yeah, it would have been 22, I think.
Okay. So at that time, it's not like he is early writing days of his career. Like at that time.
He'd started his JV with Big Loud, with his publishing company.
Okay.
Cadillac.
Okay. So God, I didn't realize that Cadillac had started that long ago. That's wild.
Reese Rutherford was his first signing, and
Reese is unbelievable.
He's incredible.
Southern Belle, I think, is one of the most slept on bops.
He's incredible.
That song, I went to his when they did the big release party for DeVille at Losers. I went with one of my buddies, and it was so sick. I mean, also then when you're standing there and you're just having a big time, and out walks Jamie Johnson.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then out walks Ella Langley.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
out walks Morgan Wallen. And you're just like, what the hell am I like?
But that's the magic of Nashville, right?
It's like, it truly is.
It's so cool.
They, Jamie and Ernest sang George Strait's Give It Away.
Cool.
God, it was so sick. But all of that to say, when you're in that room writing, you're writing with probably 2 other very good songwriters. And you're in that room writing, and then in walks, at that time, someone who probably had, depending on if Morgan's album had come out, 15 number ones.
I mean, yeah, he had hits at the time for sure.
And so it's just, what was that feeling like where you're like, because you mentioned before, you're like, oh my God, don't be weird.
Yeah, don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Like, don't say something stupid.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I hadn't had any experience of writing with hit writers.
100%. That's why I asked that question.
That was my first moment where I was like, what do I even do? Like, how do you be an asset in this scenario? Because you're like, I was so green.
That's what I was about to say. It's
so
not
green.
Because again, you're 5 days in to being in one of the biggest music cities in America. And in walks, in my opinion, one of the best songwriters in Nashville, even at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And still currently. And it's not that you hadn't been writing.
No, but not to that. I hadn't been writing at publishers.
Scenario.
Like, no. And like, just, you just have to be cool.
Yeah.
Be cool.
But listen, if it's me in that room, I'm losing my shit.
Oh, internal paralysis.
Yeah,
it was like I forgot how to be a human being for a minute. And I had to
because you didn't know he was showing up.
No, I wasn't. No, he was never on the right. It almost felt like he'd come in, talk to the people on the marketing floor, the A&R floor, and we were like, hey, we got this girl up there. This is kind of her vibe.
Sure.
Can you go do a little check?
Do you think the song is good?
Yeah. I'd have to go back and listen to it again. I feel like it was. Like, I recall it being good, and I've thought about it since then, so I feel like it must be. We don't have a proper demo of it. We just have a work tape.
So did you end up sending him the work tape?
Yeah.
After
we were in a group
and
chat.
he liked it?
Yeah, I think he was like, great work, guys. Slay, sort of thing.
God, that's so...
It was crazy, but
but that's just so cool.
It was so cool. Even if the song never came out, it was such an incredible experience. The problem with that week, though, and this is what I always tell people when they move to town, regardless, I think if you're moving from 3 hours away or a whole ass country, that week moved so fast, and it made me think that was the speed I had to operate at. And the year that followed, I pushed myself into the ground, and maybe it would be different if I was in my early 20s. I mean, you can just tolerate so much more stress, and you can do so much more. But the year that followed that year became a year of how do I get out of burnout, and how do I be a human being again, and find balance.
Were you just saying yes to everything?
Everything.
Yeah.
And
every opportunity to
and
sing.
going to the gym as hard as I was prior. I mean, there's
all of those little things.
Dude, when you're in your 20s, you can train as hard as you want because you have no responsibility. You can do as much as you want because there's no responsibility. And then once you become a whole ass adult, things just change. It's just different.
No,
I mean, this, you have a family, and
the pace that you go at changes. All
slow down.
No, I think though, the older you get, it's not that you say yes to less, and let me rephrase. It's not that the pace you go at has to change. It's just that you learn to say yes to the right things to go at that pace at those things.
Well, I just know, quantity is the name of the game in the beginning.
Oh, 100. Yeah, and I
to.
can only imagine for you where you're moving 18 hours away.
38.
I'm sorry. 38 hours away.
Yeah, that drive was 38 hours.
Jesus.
I mean, it's only 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Behind, but it was a 38-hour drive.
Okay, so you move 3.5 days away, or 3 days away. So you have to just say yes to every
And
I just go ahead.
I needed to find my place.
Yeah.
Like, I had my homies here. Like, I was lucky enough that I'd spent so much time on the internet. Shout out Clubhouse. Shout out, like,
Yep.
Instagram.
So
Like,
you had connections in town with riders.
yeah, but a lot of those the connections that I had that first week where they had set me up on all these rides, a lot of those people became my immediate crew because we were all kind of coming up at the same time, and which was great. But I had to find my place.
Yeah.
How do I do this? What does it look like? I wasn't going to play Broadway. I knew I wasn't going to play Broadway. That wasn't my thing. And like, so how am I spending my days? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. What was your motivation behind not wanting to play Broadway?
It's just not me.
Yeah.
I love performing, but I am not a cover gig girl. Even in my set now, I might do one cover. I rarely will put a cover in. It's just not.
So I feel like this is my perspective, and I've said this. Ironically, I've ended up having several different musicians or groups on the podcast already. Somebody asked me the other day, like, are you just a country music podcast? I'm like, God, no. But like in the city we're in, I get a lot of musicians and that are friends, and I'm fine with it. But I feel like there's a natural assumption of artists that move here that it's like, in order to get cut or get a deal, you got to start on Broadway. And so to go against the grain in that, do you feel like it's made it harder for you?
Well, listen, if you're Canadian and you're getting a visa, the only way that you can make money is if you're doing something that is playing shows. So most people who move from Canada are playing Broadway because that's how they can make money.
Do you know other Canadian musicians in town that are playing Broadway?
Yeah. A lot. And they're killing it.
Really?
But that is not my journey. And the way that I look at it, like, dude, I'm in more debt than I've ever been in my entire life doing this thing. And it will all go away at one point. I will get the song that deletes it all. But the way that I see it is I don't want to just be a performer. I do. I fucking love getting on stage. It horrifies me, but I love it. I do truly love it. But I want to write fucking songs for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And if I'm spending my days going to Broadway from 10 to 2 or 6 to 10, playing.
That then impacts your ability to write.
How am I writing? Because I can already tell you right now, I'm fried after a write. There's no way you could get me on a stage. I love it that much, but like, I don't want to go play covers for 4 hours. My voice also couldn't do it. There's no way. Like, I don't think that I have the agility and the endurance in my voice to do that. I can't even go to a bar and talk to people for 2 hours and my voice not be wrecked the next day.
Yeah, then you throw a couple Marlboro Reds in there. And
dude, fucking talk about it. But like,
That's like my new running joke. I don't know why. I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life.
I mean, I love that for you. It's okay. I was going through a stressful time the last couple of weeks, and I bought 4 packs of cigs, and I am not a smoker.
$110 later. I saw something.
And I gave them away. I smoked 2.
Yeah.
Basically from a pack. One, I think I smoked 1 out of 1. But I just kept giving them away. But I was like, I don't really drink. And if I do drink, it's like it has to be social related. It has to be like something specific. It might be one. No, I just don't do that. I grew up in an alcoholic household. I'm like not interested. But I was like, I need something to be magical. So I gave 1 to a homeless person.
That's incredible.
I gave another 1 to the garbage can. Another 1 I gave to just this random guy in my building. And the other 1 I like left on a curb after I smoked them. Anyways, but it just wasn't for me. And my voice, I don't think lends to covers very well. I think I have a weird tone. I would not say singing does not come naturally to me. I don't think it's like.
When I do find that interesting because it wasn't like I feel like a lot of people started
my voice.
Singing early. Really?
Fucking hate it. I do not want to hear it. I release music because I feel like it's something I need to say.
That's so wild to me.
It.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I struggle to listen back to the podcast. Too.
Oh, yeah. Like, I will not watch this.
It's hard for me.
No disrespect. No, everyone else should watch this.
No. I understand.
I can't deal.
It's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
And, like, I have listened to it, and I'm just like, Well, like I re-listened to an episode the other day. My struggle with it's like I was editing, and I normally don't have to listen to a whole episode to edit. This one I was. And I'm like, where it's hard for me is I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have done better at 97 different parts.
Right.
I talked too much. They didn't get to talk enough. It's just that
Dude.
the struggle of like over critiquing and over analyzing every detail. But that is just part of it. But so there's something else I was gonna ask you. I'm trying to think of it. Oh, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about your current work. So you've released 14 singles. You just released a new single. How long ago did that? When we're recording this, it's January. How long ago did that
It dropped
song come?
January 2nd.
Oh, so it literally just came out. And then, if I remember correctly, Billboard published
Dude, as a recovering publicist,
yeah,
having your song land in an article is incredible. Having your name land in the headline is a whole other lane of excitement.
I was gonna say, like, so the day we got introduced, I think it was that day I was telling a buddy of mine, or maybe I was telling my wife that we were gonna record, and I'm like, yeah, she just got published on Billboard as what the top 5 new country songs to listen to in 2026, correct?
Yeah, I think it
Or
was like
something
of
like
this
that.
week or something, yeah.
So what is that feeling like to set the stage a little bit? You started music,
I was a
let's
late
see,
bloomer.
12 years ago, right? Give or take.
I was a late bloomer.
But still though, like you
Yeah.
started music like 14, 15-ish era when you were starting in pop.
Sure.
You switched to country 17, 18. So you've been at this for 8, almost 9 years.
Yeah.
So what is that feeling like how do you find out that Billboard's
So the
like, put you
editor,
in?
I didn't even pitch for this. So I
Okay.
do all my own press, because I know how to do it.
Yep.
I didn't pitch to the editor at all.
Okay.
I opened up my Instagram and I was tagged in the piece.
Really?
And I did one of these. Like, am
Yeah.
I seeing what I'm seeing? And I'm like, oh, this is probably a mistake. Like, or this is like some adjacent thing.
Sure.
Like, what AI bullshit is this at first? And then I knew the editor. Like, I'd seen her name a lot, and I've seen some of the stuff that she's published.
Yeah.
And I opened it up and I went to the article and I was like, this is
No, that's nuts.
It's wild. It's the first time I've ever seen my name in Billboard, and I was like, this is the first, it is not the last. Like, that was a moment where I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. Because I feel like my journey is not that of someone who goes viral overnight.
Sure.
I know this. I think I still dream of that happening, but I just don't think that is going to be how it happens. But it is these micro moments that continue to happen year over year like this that build upon the last thing. And then I think it's a unique way of it happening. It's frustrating at times, but getting that was like a holy shit moment.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and I've talked about this before, but I hate the concept of overnight success and like in every area of life, because the reality of it is like you might have just heard of someone for the first time and been like, oh wow, they popped out of nowhere. Oh, they had this in today's day and age. Oh, they had a real hit, 100,000 views or whatever, or millions. But the reality is 99% of the people that happens to have been consistent doing it, and out of nowhere the right person sees it, the algorithm catches it, whatever it is. It's not what's crazy too about it is there's no recipe for it.
No, which is equal parts frustrating and amazing, right? Like,
no,
I think
it's belligerently frustrating.
Like, I mean, I've been posting fairly consistently, and
yeah,
I mean, there is a gap in the quality of my content, and I'm aware of that. But I think it's just hard because you see people doing the exact same thing that you're doing, but theirs is taking and it's hitting the algorithm.
And I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation the other day about my music, and I'm like, I feel like I get so close to it doing, like, maybe it's not hitting someone enough. Maybe the subject matter just doesn't hurt enough. Like, but you just don't know if that's actually the thing. And if you look at your, like, at the grand scheme of things, the thing that you can't say it's not working, because if it's growing year over year, if single
Then
after
something's
single,
working.
it,
Yeah.
yes, like
Right.
this single week 1 on Spotify alone, it did 50,000 in the first
Wow.
week, which for me is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, no,
Like,
that is incredible.
it's great. I mean, it was 30,000 over the first weekend. So it's like,
Yep.
that's my biggest release week. So I can't say that this isn't
Well, and
working.
it's hard too because I feel like our scope of
Oh
quote
my
unquote
gosh.
working and growth is so skewed because like what you see is working are the biggest artists or the biggest creators on
Mhm.
planet Earth.
Mhm.
And so it's like for you to compare yourself to any of the top
You
10
can't.
charting artists right now
You
is
can't.
so you're not on a major record deal. You're not
Mm-mm.
on a like all of you're not on a
Totally.
publishing deal right now.
Totally.
Is that your like next step you think or your next dream is a publishing deal
Yeah.
from the writer side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had my first top 20 at Canadian Country Radio as a co-writer on a song.
What
And
song was it?
Rally Around by Sully Burrows.
Okay.
We got some really, it's a sports song.
Okay.
We got like some incredible NHL and Sportsnet placements last year, and
Oh wow.
it went 18 a couple months back, but it was my first time I've ever had that happen. My one of my songs went top 50 at one point, but I've never paid for radio. So like I
Yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know,
Right.
but that was a moment where I'm like, "Oh, I can like do
Mhm.
this." You know,
Yeah.
like this is something I want to do. And I
Yeah.
mean, I've always known that I want to write songs, and I've had some people in the industry be like, "Well, you have to pick a lane." And I
Yeah.
get from a publisher's aspect,
Yep.
like you need to be able to tell a story about the writers you're representing, and you need to be able to
Mhm.
pitch me in certain ways to certain
Sure.
people. But and like I'm doing the artist thing right now. I
Mhm.
am. And like I love doing that, but I love writing other people's stories.
Yeah,
And I've been
100%.
so fortunate that the producer guys I work with in Canada, they pull me in on a bunch of stuff that they do. Shout out the Renaissance. Um, but they pull me in on things, and I just love
Yeah.
doing it with someone else. Like
Mhm.
it fuels me in a way that I just can't. I can't wake up and
Yeah.
not do it. Like I
Mhm.
love doing
Well, and
it.
I think that is the beautiful thing about like finding what you love is like I remember when I recorded the first episode of this podcast, I texted my best friend. He's like, "How did it go?"
Mm.
And like what's insane is like when I recorded the first episode, I had to never been a guest on a podcast.
Mhm.
I had to never recorded a podcast. I had never interviewed someone for a podcast.
Crazy.
Well, I guess that's sort of a lie. I had done so a couple years ago when I was doing a thing called Rooted, we did a couple like video-ish interview things. But like I don't really count those. And he was like, "How did it go?" I said, "I found the thing I want to do for the rest
Oh,
of my life." You know, and so it's just but like,
oh.
it's like the thing is like you wake up and you're like, "Oh my God, I've like you figured out." And
Yeah,
it's
right.
just but like then you realize you're like, "Oh, shit, still gotta make money."
Yeah, right.
But
Damn
but no,
it.
it's I'm excited to see where this journey takes you. I mean, I think your story is incredible to me
Mm.
because well, like one, finding what you feel like you're born to do later in life
Mm.
is interesting because like um uh episode when we're recording this it comes out tomorrow but by the time this episode comes out it'll come out a few weeks ago with my friend Josh Hill. I asked him, so he's an attorney, and I asked him, I was like, when did you know you wanted to be an attorney or law, and he's like, second grade.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was either second or third grade. He said he knew he wanted to be an attorney, and eventually he wants to be a judge.
Mm.
But that's not the story for everyone.
No, and
You
I
know,
think I wanted to be
you wanted to be an Olympic snowboarder.
no.
Was that ever in the cards?
No.
Well,
I wasn't good enough.
you just enjoyed it.
I was good
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
a girl in that time
You
era.
could have been Lindsey Vonn.
I would have never made it past that. I just was not.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't have
Lindsey
enough.
Vonn skied, so.
Yeah.
But
Well,
still.
but I wanted to. I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be Lindsay Lohan. I wanted to be an actress.
Yeah,
I wanted to be in film and TV. Like
yeah,
that's what I wanted to do.
yeah.
Did I think music was the thing? No. Did
Mhm.
I weirdly, innately put on talent shows to everyone and pretend like I was on Oprah's podcast talking about music and like things that,
Wow.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
did all those things, but it didn't add up to me. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
what it meant. I mean, I don't, like, I think I've always knew, like I floated around in this like weird land of like, I want to be a creative and I want to create things and I want to express myself. I had no clue what it looked like. And I think really, like, I knew I wanted to do it in 2020 when I was writing so much, but I don't think I really knew how much I wanted it until I moved, until I drank the Kool-Aid every single day and I was like, oh, I could never go back to a corporate gig. I could never go
I
back.
can understand that.
Like, there's no way.
And I think, though, that is part of what I find so incredible about your story is, like, you found what you felt like you were born to do later in life and believed in it and yourself enough to move 38 hours away at 32 in your 30s. I don't know if you're 13, I'm throwing out an arbitrary number. In your early 30s, though, you move 38 hours away to where you essentially knew no one, knew nothing other than let's chase a dream and see where it takes us, and to have found success in it too is incredible.
It's crazy. Yeah, and I mean, I try to be very present in the fact that, like, the little girl that was doing these talent shows to her teddy bears would never know that this was her life every day.
Well, I literally was about to ask if you could go, and I know we didn't get into like a ton of the nuance of your childhood and stuff. But if you could go back to, you're in your 30s, if you could go back to 8-year-old Parker and tell her anything, what would you tell her?
Hold on for dear life. And, like, slow down. Because I think that
Slow down is interesting.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because I think when you get in this business, you move so quickly that you forget why you're doing it.
Okay.
And I think the why gets lost when you're moving too fast. And
I can understand that.
And, like, it's probably only in the last year that I think I've taken more moments to be like, what am I doing this for? Like, if this specific thing or not getting this specific thing or this person not emailing me back is going to cause me this much sadness and frustration, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And, like, the answer is always because I can't do anything else. Like, I love this. Like, there is no plan B anymore. Like, this is what I'm doing till the day I die. Like, there's not another option because I couldn't live my life not telling stories and writing songs. Like, I can't. Like, I just don't. There isn't a world that exists anymore for me. Like, there isn't. So I always try to go back to the why, but to go back to the why, it requires you to slow down. And, like, if you are racing for your life to get to the publishing deal, racing for your life to get to whatever, I think you miss a lot of things along the way. And I think you miss a lot of the growth opportunities and the stories that people tell you.
Well, and I think that is what I think that perspective only comes with age and maturity and, like, growing up a little bit. Because, like, in your 20s, like my
rip and roar in your 20s, go so hard.
Well, you don't have the perspective.
No.
Like, so my 8-year-old, it was December 23rd or 24th. It was one of the two. And he was, like, mad or sad. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong? He's like, I just want it to be Christmas Day, so Santa's already come. And I looked at him and I'm like, bro, I promise you, you don't. Because the second you wish away this Christmas, you're going to wake up 32 and wish you could feel like an 8-year-old. And, like, I know that, like, sounds so demented a little bit because, like, I wouldn't trade where I am in life for anything. No, but I would go back and experience Christmas as a kid one more time.
Dude, same.
So I think that is, like, the difficulty of life is you spend the first 30 years, like, wishing time away. And, like, oh, I can't wait till I get to this. I can't wait till I get to this. I can't wait till this happens. I can't wait till I accomplish this. And then you turn 30 and it sometimes is like a switch flips magically in your brain and you're like, oh, let me just learn. And maybe it's a matter of, like, you see your parents aging. Like, I saw this.
That's hard.
I saw something the other day. So I talked about this on an intro of one of the podcasts. But one of my closest friends in the world, his dad passed away June of 2025 on my birthday, June of 2025. He was my dad's best friend. He was
Sorry.
one of my family's a very, very close family friend. He was my friend. And his youngest son has now become one of my dearest friends in the world, which is funny because like he was my younger sister's age growing up. So like we were friends, but like he was the younger brother of one of my best friends as a kid. So like we weren't close. Very confusing way to say now that we are close. And I saw a reel the other day on Instagram that said something like, if you, like when you're an adult, if you don't live in the same city as your parents, you might have, and you're like 30, and you might have 18 more years with your parents.
Think
Maybe.
about it.
And then, but here's where it gets worse. You might see them 2 or 3 times a year. And so it's like the thing was like you might have 40 more times with your parents.
How many more Christmases?
Yeah. And so
Summers.
maybe some of the perspective in your 30s is like those things start to hit you where it's like I go on vacation every summer with my mom's mom and stepdad, my grandparents, my parents, all my siblings, all of our kids.
Yeah.
We do that every year. And I see my parents almost every month and I talk to them every day or almost every day. So like but like still like how many more times do you get that? And so I think all of that starts to shift in your 30s.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting though is like in life, it's so easy to either focus on the journey or the destination.
Totally.
And so I think what I mean by that is it's very easy to tell yourself fall in love with the journey and just getting there. But when that happens, it's so easy to not appreciate that you've gotten there because you focus so much on not worrying about getting there. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I also think tied into all of that is like not celebrating the things that happen because they seem so insignificant in the moment because you're so concerned about, well, what do I do next?
Yeah, 100%.
How do I top the thing or how do I keep the momentum? And I'm so guilty for that where like I'm already working in my brain all the time on what happens 6 months from now. And I was having a conversation yesterday about being in this industry is really interesting because it's the one industry as an artist, you are never living in today. You are living in 6 months from now. You're living in, I've got those releases, so I've got to prep all of these things for that month because you're never in the present day. And I've had to spend so much time and effort in like stopping in the morning before I even make a cup of coffee and just like journaling about what I feel that day. What am I excited for today? What am I grateful for from the last night or whatever? Yeah. Because it's such a trap to be.
Because you can get so lost and not living in the present. And I find that so interesting though, because like I hate traveling. I hate the journey. No, hold on. Not traveling. I hate the journey. I am, those people that are like,
I love getting on a plane.
Like, enjoy the journey. Life's about the journey. And I'm like, okay, life maybe, but my trip is not. My trip is about me getting where the hell I'm trying to go. Because then I will enjoy it.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not one of those people. It's like, you can ask my wife, if we are in the car going somewhere, I'm like, you better pee before we leave because we are not stopping until now we have a newborn again. Yeah. And so that entire concept gets thrown the flip out the window.
Totally.
But but it's so easy though, even on like a trip, you can get so lost in, oh my gosh, we only have 5 more days. And you forget to enjoy every moment of every day because like I think for me it's like I'm learning, like I said, we go on vacation with my family every year. I'm learning when we're there of like, you can't control how many days are left. The trip is going to end, whether you want it to or not. Can you learn how to enjoy and appreciate every moment of every day that comes on this trip? Because you only get this trip one time.
Totally.
And I think to your point of like when you talk about in the industry you're in and writing and releasing music and pursuing that, okay, the industry wants you focused 6 months from now on the next record, the next release, the next songwriting session, whatever. But if you only get today once.
Crazy.
And again, this is maybe something that just comes with the older you get, the more perspectives you get in life. But it's so easy to just focus on, okay, how is the next single going to do when it releases in 16 weeks or whatever? And because you know all that so far in advance. And so I find that very wise of you. That's like you wake up every day and it's like, okay, let me like stop before I get into the midst of all of this.
Yeah.
and focus on like what I'm grateful for, what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when did you start that practice?
Years ago,
Okay.
before I even moved, I'd started doing it, but then I kind of fell off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it comes in
Mm-hmm.
waves and eras. But this year, I think I realized like last year wasn't a bad year, but
Mm-hmm.
it felt really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of amazing things that happened last year, but like something about it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely abandoned my journaling
Okay.
last year. And I was like, okay, this year is not going to be last year.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a good feeling about 2026.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I think I need to be a little bit more present.
Mm-hmm.
And this also kind of came on because last May I did my first headlining tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I played my first hometown show that I've ever played.
Oh wow.
I've never played my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
my hometown theater. I've never
Dang.
done that. And one of my best friends was like, "How do you feel? Like you said you like after we finished all the shows, she was like, "Do you feel good?" And I was like, "I feel nothing."
Wow.
Even after my first hometown show, I was like, "Yeah." Cool.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I literally feel zero." And I
That's
was like,
interesting.
"That's bad."
Yeah.
Whether that was I wasn't allowing myself to
Mm-hmm.
feel any sort of element of joy or
Mm-hmm.
pride or whatever it was, it just really turned the lights on for me to be like, whoa, like you're just not tapped into yourself at
Mm-hmm.
all. Like, did I enjoy being on stage and telling jokes and like
Yeah.
kind of like doing my little thing that I do? Yeah.
But you're so lost
But
in
I
it.
was so not. I got off the stage and I was like, cool, pack it up,
Wow.
do the next one. Like I just
Yep.
wasn't
It was just
there,
on the hamster wheel, like
which
show
is
to
not
show.
it.
Yep.
Because that's like now when the next big thing
Yeah.
happens.
Right.
So that kind of woke me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into this year, I was like, hey, we're going to try really hard to be very present.
Yep.
To show more gratitude to the people and the things that come to you.
Yep.
We are going to reflect on the wins more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this industry is so tough because you're just met with slamming doors all the time and you have to be okay with a no.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of the game. Like you just have to be. But I think when it starts to feel like you are wringing yourself dry and you
Yeah.
feel like you're not getting an ounce of recognition or it just never feels to be enough to like get the flywheel spinning, it's really hard to not be like just throw in the towel. Like last year I almost quit a few times.
Yeah.
Really throwing in the towel, like just being like I can't do this anymore. I just like can't.
Yeah.
This is breaking my heart in a way that I can't explain. But then you get past that feeling a little bit and you're like, yeah, but what would break your heart more? It would be being 80 and sitting on your front porch and being like, I
100%.
just never really gave it
Yeah.
the
I think
college
that is
try.
what is one of my greatest fears in life. It's like
I don't want to regret anything.
Yeah. You get to the end of it and you go, what if I would have done that? And I think I like reflect on, the last 12 years of my life. It's like, I don't regret. I mean, there are a couple things I regret because I'm like, oof, that could have changed my life. But I think it's the regret in that question is more of like, had I not said yes to this, what would it have changed?
Yeah.
That. But I also, at the end of the day, think I'm like, I wouldn't trade where I am.
No, and I think a lot about if, let's say, that first record label gave me a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be where I am now?
Yeah,
would I have the experiences I've had now? Would I have written the songs that I've written now? Like, would I be as sure of myself now? Like, because other people would be kind of carrying the narrative and whatever. Like, I do believe that in whatever you believe in, whether it's God, the universe, whatever, I do think there is a path that is laid for us. I think there's multiple paths. I think they all lead to the same destination.
Yeah.
I just think the journey can look different and the things that come to you at different times are different and how you handle each situation. Like it's kind of like a choose your own adventure sort of thing to a degree. But I wouldn't change anything. Like I experienced something when in 2015 that really changed my life. Not to get cryptic about it, but it was one of those things where you look death in the eye and
Mm-hmm.
you say, what's it gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
And it shook me to my core in a way that I think, like, thank God it happened
Yeah.
because I needed to get woken up.
Mm-hmm.
And since that experience, I think I've taken life a little less seriously, but simultaneously,
Sure.
like, it's so much more precious to me,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I
They
think
gave you they gave you a perspective of like how fleeting
oh
every
my
moment is.
gosh. Yeah, like you could be on the top of the world and then the next day your whole world's falling down around you. And that can happen to all of us at any point.
Yep.
Which is why I think the gratitude stuff is so great. And what I'm realizing getting back into that practice is like what you end up writing day to day is actually interesting.
Yeah.
Like you start writing about things where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I wrote something the other morning and I try to go like free flow,
Mm-hmm.
don't think about what you're writing. And
Yep.
I always light a candle before I start doing
Sure.
it and I sit down but that morning I'd written, I'm grateful for the sound of a match
Hmm.
and the crackle.
Yeah.
And that's such
interesting.
a small
Yeah,
thing, but you
it is.
know that sound
Mm-hmm.
and what that means and like
Mm-hmm.
the warmth of it.
Well, and that's so. I think though that's like that is something that comes with when you slow down. Like to go back to what you said, you would tell 8-year-old Parker of like slow down. And I think when we allow ourselves to slow down, and I think some of the reason we don't allow ourselves to slow down as adults is because then that's where feeling comes in, and we don't want to feel whatever it
That
may be.
and generationally,
Yeah.
I do believe it's the keeping up with the Joneses, and
Mm-hmm.
not in the sense of like with the materialistic
No,
things.
no,
I'm
no.
meaning more like if you slow down, someone else is going to pass you.
Yep.
But also, you can pass them later. Like
When
and
I
it shouldn't be that
yeah,
game,
and
but
that right, and that is then where it's like, but everyone's on their own journey, and
yeah,
and just because you're on the
totally.
same path necessarily somebody else, your path is different, and I think
No,
if
yeah.
you the earlier in life you can learn that of like you may be setting out to do the same thing that someone else is and serve someone else is, and they may quote unquote be better or not than you, but your path is different and there is enough space in this world for everyone to try to do their own thing. And like I think it's the reality is like there's just a lot that's out of your control. And it's like
Yeah.
who cares if someone else is there, you know how many other songwriters or podcasters or whatever are out there, and it's like, hey, you know what? But so be it. Like
Who cares?
do I want other people to do well? 1000%. You know?
Yeah, like, do we need another heartbreak song? Probably not.
Are you gonna write it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're okay
I'm
with
gonna
that.
write the shit out of it.
Right.
And I'm gonna
should.
write the shit out of it 8 different ways
Yeah,
from Sunday.
and you should but I think that is the thing. It's like just because it exists doesn't mean you can't do it.
Absolutely.
And I think how many people have not pursued a dream or something they thought they were supposed to do because they're like, it's already out there.
Yeah.
Like we were joking beforehand. You're like, you were asking about Deepish and like where it came from. And you're like, another white dude with a microphone. And it's like, you know what? Damn straight, there's it's another white dude with a microphone.
It's how you use it. It's how you use the ideas and the concepts that are brought to you or the things that you believe in.
And I think if like anybody hears this and it's like my encouragement to them would be like, just because there's someone else doing it doesn't mean you can't too.
Totally.
Like now that doesn't mean you should do something awful and horrible for people or that you should do something you're not good at. I just want to put a disclaimer because last thing I want is in 20 years someone goes, you told me to do this because no, I'm not saying that if it's bad. I'm just saying if you have a dream that like you want to. I think that was something I learned in the dark season of my life. And I'm trying to think of how to say this in a way that I can say it out loud. But I think I learned in that season of like how detrimental it is when people feel threatened. And they don't and like how let me say it this way. How bad it is for humanity when you don't encourage people because you view them as competition.
This is an interesting, not interesting topic, but it is something that I think like celebrating other artists.
Yeah. And it's not easy to do.
And creatives. No,
Yeah.
but I think like, and trust me, I've gone through the like, they got that thing and again I didn't. Like that's gonna happen all the time.
That's life.
But I also don't know at what point in society and what point we all just start celebrating each other.
Yeah, right.
Like, I look at it's hard as an artist because you're like, and I'm sure this happens to just people who are just songwriters, but like your comment section, when you don't see any friends in there.
Oh, yeah, no, it exposes a lot.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
tough.
yeah, 100%.
'Cause
Yeah.
you can't take 2 seconds to throw in a fire emoji.
Yeah, oh, no. And listen,
And
this
I'm
is
sure
awful.
as you doing your thing now too, it's
Hey,
like
and I know. Like, that's so terrible, but it's like but it's funny to me, it's like the people you think would support it
yeah.
well, here's what's hard. This is me being vulnerable for a second. And I think that all of my closest friends would say that I'm right. I would venture to say that if you are my friend, no one is going to cheer for you harder than I am. And I mean that. Like,
Mm.
if and I think most of the people that I'm closest to would say, like, no one will have my back more.
Now, as that person
Oh, and I know, I promise you, I know when you don't.
like
But I wanna preface that or not preface, I want to follow that up by saying, I'm not cheering for you so that you cheer for me,
precisely. And I
and
think
I never have been.
right. You're doing it because you believe in what people are doing. And I'm very
Yeah,
similar in that regard.
yeah,
And I would also venture to say that, like, if you're doing
yeah,
something, I will celebrate you to the nth degree,
yeah,
especially if I believe in what you're doing and to your face and behind your back.
yeah.
Um, really hard place though when you feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
are bending over backwards to celebrate other people
Mhm.
and that is not naturally reciprocated.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
It's
and
tough.
I'm the type of person too where it's like, I can easily be like it can easily cause me to animosity is in type of way, but to get frustrated. Not
Well,
bitter. It's not that I'm bitter because I'm just like, at the end of the day, the right people will celebrate it. But it is, but I am that like I am loyal until you cross me.
yeah.
And like, I mean like badly loyal. And so and it takes but, like and, I mean, my wife will tell you, like, if you cross me, oh, I'm out. Oh, I'm so
Oh,
out
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
quick.
Dude,
And,
real.
and when I'm out, it's bad.
Yeah.
But I digress, that's a different topic of discussion. But all of that to say, it's like, it is one of the hardest things when you are creating something and you're starting from scratch. Like,
Mm.
they say, like, that, everybody talks about, like, if you wanna know who has your back, start something new because you will learn who actually cares about you and who cares
Love
about
it.
what you're doing, and you will also find out who is your biggest cheerleader and who's your biggest critic.
Well, and it sucks because we live in the age of social media
Yeah.
where validation is seen in a comment
Mhm.
section or seen by a like or a share.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is a world, the
Yeah.
world that we live in where people have families and kids and they're not sitting they're probably on their phone scrolling, but they're not thinking about the the currency that
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
comments, like shares,
Mhm.
all of that stuff, the engagement aspect of things. They don't understand that that means something.
Yeah.
So even if internally they're stoked for you, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah. They're not
articulating
a
it,
yep.
it's really hard for anyone in the
And that's difficult too because, like,
right.
it's not that I wanna put on anybody that, like,
Like,
the
oh,
people
you
close
just
to me
don't give
aren't
a crap.
celebrating me or, like, have my back.
Yes.
Because I don't mean it that way, and, like, I don't want everyone that's close to me here to be like, "Oh my god, is he talking about me?" Well,
Totally.
if you ask that question, then maybe there's your answer.
Right.
That's so hateful, and I don't mean it that way. But all of
No,
that to
but
say,
this
it's
is
like,
a
I think
real
the thing is, it's
thing.
like, for me, the decision um, like, my wife and I were talking, God, I don't even know if we'd had our oldest yet. Maybe he was young, but I remember talking because like, we used to have years ago for, like, 9 months until life shifted a little bit. We used to do weekly dinners at our house every Sunday night, like, 30 or 40 people would come over, like, legit. And it started smaller, and then all of a sudden, and it was exclusive, and then people found out, and then people started inviting, and it became a thing I didn't want it to be. But
Ain't that the
I
way?
remember that her and I having this conversation, and I'm like, "When we die, I think more than anything, I want people to remember how generous we were."
Oh,
And that, like
absolutely.
and I mean that, like and I don't just mean it monetarily, but I mean, like, in spirit, in time, in
Yeah.
energy, and, like, people know that's, like, you can walk into our house. Like, I mean, there have literally been nights where people have been at our house and stayed until 3 or 4 in the morning just because they needed to.
Mhm.
And now waking up at 7 the next morning was god awful, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade it for anything.
Sure.
And so I think though that is when this whole conversation of like when you just talking about like you notice when people that say they support you and all that, that when you notice those like who's not commenting, who's not sharing, who's
Mm.
not reacting to it. I think for me it's like, and you said like that doesn't mean they're not internally celebrating you. I will stand by this. If you internally in anything in life internally you're like, man, I'm happy for them. For the love of God, tell them.
Just tell them.
Because I promise you the day will come when you go, man, I wish like that person, this is so dark, but like that the person will be gone. The thing will be over. And you're like, man, I wish they would have known how proud I was of them. Like, and I don't, and I'm not just saying this because I'm starting something from scratch. I would have said this to you years ago. Like, if you think of someone, just for the love of God, call them or text them. Call them. Don't text them. Call them.
Call them. Leave them a voice memo or something. But like, I think this goes back to words matter.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And like what you say matters.
Yep.
And I think how we make people feel matters.
Yeah.
And but this also goes back to slowing down. It's like if you don't take a second to drop someone, hey man, I've been thinking about you and I'm just really proud of what you're doing, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Why are we friends?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, I just think that we have to celebrate each other more, because those little wins, whether it's my best friend just got a promotion at work and like, girl deserves it.
Yep.
And like, I can't imagine just being like, cool. Like, it's just so brutal.
No, like, I want you to know how much I celebrate the fact
Yeah.
and like, listen, hear me out. I'm going to celebrate you even if you're not out externally winning. I
celebrate-
promise you, if you ask the people in my life, that they will tell you that's true.
Yeah. Like, I just think that we're moving too fast to acknowledge the fact that.
And I think the world wants us to internally be at competition even with our best friends.
Sure. Yeah.
And not that I'm anti the world. I just think that's
no.
like.
But this also goes back to your why.
Yep.
Like, in a lot of ways.
I'll tell a story and then I'll have a question for you before we finish.
Okay.
I remember, and I don't think I've ever publicly told this story, but this is on par with the conversation we're having. Probably the hardest day of my life. Or it was the days following one of the hardest days of my life, where just like my life kind of just hit the fan in things that I had no control over. And I called one of my mentors, and we hadn't been able to get in touch. And finally, like it was a Friday. It was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And I think we had played phone tag that morning, and I called him. And he's an evangelist, has his own ministry and he's also a pastor at a church in South Carolina. And I called him, and I was still in ministry at the time. I called him. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "I'm getting ready they do a winter conference with his ministry that he started. I think they're 26 years old now. They do a winter conference every January." And he's like, "It's winter conference weekend." I'd completely forgotten. I was like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to preach to like 3,000 students or whatever." And I'm like, "Man, I'm so sorry." Like, I'm like, "I will call you." I'm like, "Call me tomorrow, call me Monday. Like, it can wait." And he said something to me that I will never forget. He said, "No, Jake, I have time for you. What's going on?" And it was in that moment, like, a lot of people, if I said this guy's name, like, would know who he was.
Right.
Like, in the circles that, like, I was involved in ministry. Like, people would know his name. Like,
Sure.
he is very well known as one of the greatest evangelists of our generation, I think. And like, few people have had a greater impact on my life than him. But in that moment, when I needed a friend and I needed someone who I could talk to about what was going on, for him to go, "No, I have time for you." Like, dude is like, in that world, to be getting ready to go preach, like, you want as few distractions and few things going on in life as you possibly can. And for him to be like, "No, I have time for you. Like, what's going on?" And then to spend 30 minutes on the phone with me talking about it.
It's, you know what I say? It's crazy. It's not crazy.
No, it's not that hard to be a good friend. And like, but that to me meant more than he probably, like, he might not even remember that conversation or remember telling me that. He would, like, I know him well enough to know that he would. But I just think in the midst of that, it's like, you never know as a human being what impact you have on others when you just take the time for them.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, I feel that deep in my soul.
I feel like we've had a very fun conversation today. And I think we've talked about a lot of deep things, but shout out Deep-ish.
Deep-ish.
And here comes the part for the ish. I was, we always finish each episode with a hot take segment called That's What I almost said That's What She Said. Whoops. Called I Said What I Said.
His podcast took a turn.
So we were going to do a rankings on, because you're from Canada, top Canadian celebrity, shout out Robin Sparkles. Go watch How I Met Your Mother. It's so ridiculous.
Crazy.
But what's funny is in that show, how many like actual like Alan Thicke is in it. Like how many like real Canadian celebrities
Yeah,
they
yeah,
bring
yeah.
in because of her Canadian culture. But no, I want to I want you to give me the hot take that you said earlier before we started recording about a certain TV show. I we're not gonna do rankings today.
You should just pull in the clip
this
from
hot take
earlier.
this hot take is the exact reason why I started this segment called I Said What I Said. And for once, it's not me with the outrageous hot. I'm not saying your hot take is wrong, but this is the most passionate hot take that maybe I've ever heard.
I think you should just pull in the clip.
Should I just pull in the clip?
You should pull in the clip because I think that was the most honest.
That's the most vulnerable and honest that you can be with that.
Yeah,
okay.
I went full bore. You'll see it.
All right, so
take to the clip.
Okay, so I'm just gonna drop the clip in right here. And it is what it is.
Because we didn't think that I was gonna go
I
went off the rails on that.
And that's what I loved. And
I cooked for a minute.
Yeah, so here's the clip.
This is another thing.
Okay.
Anyone, and you can come for me in the comments, anyone who goes back to the following shows, I know I'm gonna get roasted for this.
Okay, I can't wait.
If you are someone who grew up watching Seinfeld,
yeah,
Will and Grace,
okay,
The OC, Friends, and as an adult, years later, the show is no longer a thing, and you rewatch those seasons over and over and over again, and your argument is it's background music, find a new hobby. I'm going to get absolutely roasted in the comments for this, but stop it. I can't.
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback on the clip we just watched for my my hot take this week, which I was not planning on giving, but I think, so everyone loves Friends. I watched Friends. Like, I didn't watch it when I was growing up. I watched it, like, my wife has that on, like, that is, like, her background noise. She watches it every night when she goes to sleep, which it's fine. Like, you can go tell her. She's upstairs right now. You can go tell her. It's fine. But here's my hot take. I think How I Met Your Mother's a better show than Friends. And you've never watched it, so like I understand you don't know.
I have no horse in that race.
So people will hate that, and that's fine. But I think How I Met Your Mother is a better sitcom than Friends was. Like, it's not that I dislike Friends. It's fine. Like, I didn't grow, like, I was a kid, like, when that show was out. So, like, I didn't grow up on that.
Right.
I was an adult when How I Met Your Mother came out.
Right.
So maybe that's part of it.
I feel like someone needs to do a PowerPoint presentation arguing your point.
Okay, I need someone. There is someone out there that can dissect why okay, so like let's compare characters. Barney Stinson is a better heartthrob than Joey in Friends. Marshall and Lily are a better couple than not Ross and Rachel, than Chandler and Monica by a mile.
I believe you.
Ted Mosby is a better like longing for love than Ross. The only thing I will give you, and I think I would say that Jennifer Aniston, Rachel, her character is better than what's her face, than Robin. I think her character is better, but
Hey, chat, what do you think?
And I think there's no greater way than to end this phenomenal episode of Deepish. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Can I do something with you?
100%.
So, a year ago, this is gonna be weird. I gotta get deep in my pockets to get it out.
I cannot. I'm so perplexed with what's happening.
So a year ago, when I was in my deepest pits of hell,
okay,
and my desire to quit,
which
I'm sure we'll have more, but a friend of mine was like trying to be encouraging.
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, yeah, and you love me, so therefore you're gonna say these things. And And it dawned on me after opening up Instagram or Pinterest or one of the two,
Sure.
I saw something and I was like, oh, I can't quit.
Yeah.
It was a very outside of my ability or my control to see something.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me realize that in life, sometimes we need an outside thing to drop into our lap in order to remind us of things.
Yeah.
So I decided to start this thing last year.
Okay.
Where I took quotes, things my mentors have told me, advice that I'd been given, and write them down on pieces of paper and put them in a jar. And at the beginning of every session, I would think of the person or people I was writing with, reach in, put an initial on it, and give it to people in the session. And so I'm still doing this.
Okay.
This is a thing that I continue to do.
Okay.
When I pulled yours today, 2 came out.
Okay.
So I just trust that the universe.
Okay.
So you can read them if you'd like.
Dang. Okay. I'll read them. I'm just reading them first before I read them aloud. Okay. Wow. All right. Here, we'll go with the first one. In light of some of the conversations we've had today about the hard seasons of life, this says, just a reminder, pain will leave you when it's done teaching you. Which goes back, I think we were talking about that. I don't remember if it was on when we were recording or not, but we were talking about that when I said, when I had quit a job and it took me 9 months. And here's the crazy thing. There are still days where I'm like, I was thinking about this yesterday. There are still days where I'm like, God, it still hits you. And then this one says, any lesson you refuse to learn will repeat itself until you do.
Hell yeah.
Dang. Well, thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you go stream Parker Graye's new single.
When do we stop talking?
You said that in the most country accent. You sound like
when do we stop talking?
No, you said that like you're from West Virginia, and I love it. Well, this has been another episode of Deepest Parker. Thank you so much for coming on.
Me, bud.
We'll see you next time. That was my conversation with my friend Parker Graye. Hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you're offended by her hot take at the end of that episode, I don't know what to tell you other than maybe you're one of the people she was talking about. And if you're offended, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't know that I am sorry. But that was arguably the most passionate hot take that I've ever heard on this podcast. And I've given some egregiously passionate hot takes. And, if you follow me on social media, I recently have shared a couple abbreviated hot takes that I have come to the conclusion of recently. And I want to share them right now, but I'm not. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to a future episode. Haven't really given a great hot take until this episode. I gave a great one at the end that also I think people will hate, but I believe in. But yeah, make sure you go stream her music, her songs she talked about in the episode that came out earlier this year, When Do We Stop Talking? And also February 27th, that is 3 days, I think, after this episode comes out. Let's see. February 27th, this episode comes out on February 24th. So this Friday, she's got another new song out, Gas Station Flowers. Make sure to go stream her music, support her, follow her on all social medias. But thank you so much for listening. Again, if you love the show, please leave us a review, comment, share the episode with a friend, and we will see you back next week for our next episode.